Weird. I don't know what that was about. I changed nothing between this and the last live. Like, I literally just put the headset down and walked away, and somehow all of the settings finagled themselves. I got nothing. No! I have already had enough troubles. Thank you. Demon Beast. Yeah, sorry about that. Thank you for telling me that there was no sound, because I was just having a conversation. Having a good old time over here. You heard weird. Alright. Who was here first? Rocky's Wooby is here! Midori Gale is back! With your water and snacks. Hellfire is back! Curvy Asparagus is back! Do not. Sir? I don't know why I'm giving him the death stare. He's completely ignoring me. Not doing the thing. Hey, Kirby. What's that link to the bingo card again? Because probably this will be a good one to play bingo on. Since I'm answering a bunch of questions. Oh, and apparently I have a channel on Nerfy's Discord, so I'll put the link to the card there and pin it. That way I can't lose it. Fadnama. Fadnama. Hello. Hello, Dolce de Corgi. Hello, Quirky. Hello. Oh yeah, Hedgehog Bouquet. Hello. Yes, welcome to the interns. Mwahaha. I think you're an intern. Not, I apologize. Hello, Lee. Put cat pictures in the pet section on Nerfy's Discord. Yeah, Nerfy's got a nice Discord, yeah? I wasn't muted. No, I don't know what was going on. Somehow my mic wasn't being registered even though I changed none of my settings. I don't know. Fun times. But hello. Hello, Ruby. Hello. Who did I miss? Hello, Jane Fonda. Hello, Stevie. Hello, Midori. Hello, well, I think I said hello, Hellfire, but hello again. Thank you. That was the light. Hello, GC. You gonna behave? What are you doing? You're lucky this is just a Q&A. He's thinking about it. Smug. Smug and smarmy. Yes, there's sound. Let's see. The card is updated. Yes. Please share the link. Lee, well, okay, I think I got everybody. Or at least I got almost everybody, at least. Technology is stupid, Ruby. How dare the internet exist? The cat probably did do it, actually, Land Designer. It's... Actually, I think I've said this more than once. I'm almost positive we have, like, gremlins or gnomes or something in this house. Not a ghost. Gotta pay the cat tax. Hello, Gunnaret. Good to see you again. So, my thoughts were... I know people enjoy the Q&A, and I know I've been gone a minute longer than I was expecting to be gone, because I didn't realize how long it had been since I posted a video, and I apologize for that. But yes, I had a good weekend. Thank you for asking. So my thought was to... Alright, if I do newest first, then I can scroll all the way back to the beginning. And... there we go. Yeah, I hadn't meant for this to go 11 days without me answering these questions, but here we are. So I figure what I'll do is I will go over the questions here, answer the ones I'm going to answer, because there might be one or two that I just am not going to answer, and nothing against anybody. I've either already answered it a million times, like I've been doing this forever. But I've either already answered it, or it's just not something that I'm going to talk about. I don't know if there's anything like that. I'm just putting that out there in case there is. Yeah. Yeah, I snapped the picture at 6001. I was like, dang it. I always miss the round number. Hedgehog? My what? I know that if you leave like cream and bread or milk and bread out for the house elves, they'll help you out around the Hof, but I haven't done that yet. Probably should. Yes, the Fae, yes. Leprechauns. Eh, I got Irish in the family, sure, why not? From Scotland, there's a lot of Fae stories. Your ghosts hang out in the yard. That's pretty cool. This was my question. Do go on about the gnomes or tiny creatures. You go get those samples, Lee. Yeah, my partner's dealing with something to do with machines and samples. Lee will understand. I don't. I have the ghosts. You gave ghosts chores, so they left. The mantle. Gotcha. Mantle. That makes much more sense. I was like, I don't know how to take that. Couldn't catch her 10K. I hear Ireland's beautiful, yes. My family way back. My mom's mom's side of the family is from there. So once upon a time, when I was just finishing up high school and starting college, I thought I might teach myself Gaelic. Yeah. And then I didn't. So. All right. So we got some good questions here. We got good questions. You guys always ask good questions for the most part. I say that as if I've ever had a bad question. It comes out terribly. It's like I can't say something nice without following it up with like a shitty comment, and that's just not the way I meant to do it. But anyway, so I got a huge shipment of elf stuff in, and somebody asked about it in the earlier chat, so I thought I'd just like real quick go over this stuff. No one cares, but here you go. Somebody asked about the foundation. I got the soft glam. I'm back here. This is the soft glam stuff from e.l.f. It's the satin foundation. I really like it. I did my makeup at 8:30. No, I did my makeup at 7:30 this morning. And so this is the result. I didn't touch it up. So it sticks, is my point. But I have the Power Grip Primer. This is the 4% niacinamide one. It's the pink one. I recommend that if you have mature skin, as they like to say. If you're old. And then I also just got this Stay Cool Primer Stick. This feels really good, actually. It's got a cooling effect when you put it on. So you really could just kind of wear this throughout the day. But it hydrates and soothes. And it does feel really good, actually. So between this and the other primer, that's what I have down. Then the soft glam satin foundation in pasty yellow white. Actually, it's called light cool, but whatever. Let me show you a couple things and then I'll talk about something that I don't like. Oh, I use this all night setting spray. I literally bought this because of the scent. It's got green tea fragrance in it. I like the smell of that. That's it. This is the Halo Glow liquid foundation. No, it's the liquid filter. This isn't actually technically foundation. You're supposed to mix it with stuff. So there you go. It's awfully sheer. I know it looks pretty thick in the bottle, but it's awfully sheer. So I wouldn't recommend using it as a foundation, but that doesn't mean it can't be worn as a foundation. And then I do have the Halo Glow setting powder. So, and I like these things. I like the Halo Glow line. I use their the camo concealer. This is way too pale for me, by the way, but there it is. I make it work anyway. Because I'm cheap. I did just get this Halo Glow Beauty Wand in blush. This is the blush color. What color was it? It's called Rose You Slay. Anyway, it's cute. And I don't know, it's very sheer. I could probably build it up. I am not going to touch politics with a 10-foot pole, Goonerette. That's anything that or politics adjacent. Not going to do that. Not going to do it. Not going to do it. That's a deep cut. All right, so this is the Jelly Pop glow stick. It's just a highlighter. And that's the highlighter here and here. It smells so good. It smells like watermelon. I could just carry this around and smell it all day. It would make me so happy. I'm trying to do this quick because I know not everybody cares about makeup. You guys know I wear the spicy sienna. This is the what is this? The lip stain? I don't know, and it doesn't say. This is the lip stain. This is the hydrating lip oil, and this is the summer watermelon flavor. It's... You can't tell I have it on, honestly. But it feels good and it smells good. And I don't have the spicy sienna on. Alright, last thing. This is the lash extender, alright? This is the lash extender from e.l.f. It's a dupe of some other product that I don't know what the name of it is, but I know it's a more expensive product. I have it on. I have like 2 layers of it on. I'm not that blown away by it, honestly. I was wearing a different mascara before I bought this, and I actually like it better. So this is the only thing that I have that I'm not that crazy. And it's not bad. It's just I like my other stuff better. So, I don't know. You guys draw your own conclusions. Like I said, I've had my makeup on since 7:30-ish this morning. So there you have it. It doesn't feel heavy. Nothing feels real heavy or anything. I tend to have pretty oily skin. It hasn't sweated off. But also, all I've been doing today is recording, so it's not like I've been out running races or anything. Again, take that how you will. There you are. For those of you who are curious about makeup. All 3 of you, I think. As for the rest of you, thanks for putting up with that. Alright. Boy, I tell you what, that watermelon smell, that watermelon highlighter stick, oh, it smells so good. It smells just like watermelon candy. I could just, if it wasn't makeup, I could totally just eat it. Amber waves are sliding. Elf's good stuff. I don't know why I'm on a huge elf kick right now, but I am. I think I wanted to put a nice face together for when I go. Did you guys know I'm going to Salem? For when I went to Salem, so I just want to look my best. Ruby Frankie, why do I... Oh, wait, isn't that the Ruby Frankie? That's the family vlogger that's in prison now because she was a terrible, terrible person. Include other stuff like the Scots, the Welsh, and the Indian. I do need to go to Ireland. I wouldn't even know where to go. Or when. I hear if you don't go in the right time of the year, it's like kind of gloomy. But I think that's pretty... We're talking about Ireland, by the way. I hear that's like pretty common for that whole area. You love the Halo Glow foundation? Yeah, like Smug and Smarmy. I was a little concerned about the shine that the Halo Glow line has, because it's just that Halo Glow line. I really like it though. And when you get out into natural light, it doesn't look so metallic-y, shiny like I do right now. That's just because of the lighting here. It has, I won't say natural, but you definitely look nice. Oh, dang it, that bee's back in the porch again. Is that bumblebee? Yeah, no, what is that? No, that's the bumblebee. All right, never mind. I just don't want him to chew a hole in my screen. Because it will. That damn thing. It figures out how to get onto the porch, and last time it figured its own way off the porch, but I don't know why it's back. Right, Rosie? You need a color called Rosy Slate. It's actually pretty. I thought it was going to be a bit too pink, but it blended out very nicely. You're getting into makeup, Alec. It's kind of embarrassing that I have uneven skin tone and people remark, that's unfortunate. Yeah, that's the nice thing about foundation is you can do that. With foundation, I mean, that's the point of it, is it's supposed to even out your skin tone and all that, but I don't know how bad your tone is, but sometimes you can get away with just like a real light CC cream and just use that instead. I am honestly, not to brag, I'm very fortunate. I think my overall skin tone's very nice. It's just I've got this rose. It's not Rosetta, but that's the word in my head. Rosacea going on. I got two little oops of it that I like to cover up. That's pretty much it, really. I like Korean skincare. I am a huge fan of Korean skincare. This is not my skincare routine. Yeah, I got... This is actually a little more yellow. The foundation that they sent me is a little more yellow than I would normally buy, but I figured since we were going into the summertime, I would probably darken up a little bit because I'll be outside a lot, so I wasn't too mad about it. My skin looks fresh because it has makeup on it. Bees do that. What, chew through screens? Hell yeah, they do. They burrow. They'll, depending on the bee type, there's all kinds of different types of bees, by the way. So depending on the bee type, they'll chew through wood, they'll chew through your screen, they'll chew through you. Come to Jersey. I'm not that far from Jersey, honestly. Actually, I just was in Jersey 2-3 weeks ago. I went to Atlantic City. I still need to get that video edited. This makeup review is a flashback to 2014. Yeah, well, trying to get done fast. I'm not gonna lie, guys. When I discovered Korean skincare, the skincare routine, that was a life changer as far as like the look of my overall skin. Not that I had bad looking skin. It's just Elf has upped their game, because I remember when Elf was the cheap brand, them and Wet and Wild, and they still are cheaper, but I remember back in the 90s where you bought those because they were cheap and the makeup was crap. And I don't know, Elf woke up one day and was like, let's make dupes. And they did, and they're great. So I would say, especially if you're just getting into makeup and you want to play around with things, Elf is the way to go because it's so much cheaper. And they have a dupe for pretty much all of the popular stuff out there. So I need to look at Dr. Jart's Game Changer. You wear it under your normal foundation? Dr. Jart's, that sounds familiar. Land designer. BB cream with just a bit of powder seems to work best. Yeah, foundation, I don't like a full coverage I mean, I like the effect of a full cover foundation, but it's too heavy for my skin. And yeah, like, yeah, it just seeps into your... Though, I did learn a new trick for applying concealer under the eyes, because I was doing it wrong, and so one of the children of TikTok explained this to me. Thank you, child of TikTok. But anyway, you just put, like, a little bit of concealer here, and a little bit of concealer here, and then you blend it out. I was doing the whole, like, whoosh, big ol' swoop. I still have dark eye. Well, this one's not so bad. I guess this one's kind of rubbed off a little. But anyway, we'll use this eye. It's a good example. But, you know, you can see how... So technically, I didn't put any concealer right here. I just blended it from the corners, and I didn't bring it down. But I don't need it there either. So. Not New Jersey? Okay, look, I'm from America. I don't know what you're talking about. If it's not New Jersey, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, Hellfire. I am an ignorant. You saw a murder hornet kill a mouse. Yes. Murder hornets are real. They're terrifying. There's a thing called a cicada killer. I don't know what its actual name is, but it's got kind of like an orangish, reddish bee body. You know, where the stinger... Huge. They are terrifying. I've been told that they will not attack humans, but I don't want to be near it. And I've seen a handful of them in my life, and they are massive. But I guess their shtick is they go after cicada. And I'll stop there because, like, nature is cruel. We'll leave it at that. You're a white and indigenous, so a mix of pale forehead and very dark nose and cheek. Lower face is covered by a moustache. You can work with that though, I think, Alec. See, I don't know. I'm not an expert in makeup at all, obviously. Um, I don't really know how you'd even that one out because I feel like if you got something to match your forehead, it may not match your nose and cheeks. So I don't know. You do. Okay, question. Do you just find a one that's like a happy mix of the two and just apply that, or do you go with the darkest tone, or do you go with the lightest tone? Like, how do you balance that? I'm very curious. If you're willing to share, you don't have to share. It's perfectly acceptable. You got a bunch of. Ooh, I'm sorry, Curvy. Oh, I'm sorry, Kirby. See, I'm not gonna lie. Um my advisor, one of my advisors when I was in my undergrad for archaeology, obviously. Uh, she had when I first met her, she had had her third melanoma, I think she was calling it, taken off. And she had like this really, I won't say it was gnarly, but it was kind of noticeable. She had like a scar on her nose from one that she had had removed, and she had one on her chin. And she was like, yeah, this is just, these are just your battle scars as an archaeologist. And I was like, from that moment forward, I was like, I will never not wear sunscreen when I go outside, especially when I'm working. And like, for the most part, I don't go outside without some kind of sunscreen on my face because I was just like, I'm not doing it. I don't want to have that problem. Now, that was her own fault for going out into the sun and never wearing, because like I don't know what it is about the archaeologists from like the 70s and the 80s, but they like prided themselves on going out with no protection, no bug spray, no sunscreen, no hats, nothing. They're just like, I'm going to bake. And like all of them have some kind of skin cancer because they just never protected themselves from the sun. And you work like 10 to 12-hour days. Just like, what were you trying to prove? So there's that. I'm not saying that's Kirby's. I'm just saying, like, she scared the crap out of me. And so now I just always wear sunscreen. But, ugh. Also, my grandfather, unrelated, my grandfather had a really nasty one on his nose, too. But that's because my grandfather was a clown, like a legit clown. And the white makeup that they would put on had lead in it still. And so he got his from his clown makeup. So, fun times. The crap we used to do to ourselves. New Jersey is named for the island of Jersey. Ah. What's the difference between the CC and the BB creams? I've never really learned. I mean, New Jersey Shore. Yeah, I mean, Jersey Shore. Wait, come back. Jersey Shore is an actual town in Pennsylvania. That's funny. The things I learn. The things I learn. Tinted sunscreen can be good. Alexandra Rodriguez wears a tinted sunscreen that looks amazing on her. But somebody told me that it was like $80 or something insane like that. I was like, nah, I'm good. It's fine. I'll stick with my CeraVe. It's fine. Long and smarmy, you had a melanoma at 37. Yeah, when I met my advisor back in the day, she was like 45-ish. So, like, melanoma doesn't... Cancer don't care what age you are. It does not care. Yeah, faces looking like a baseball mitt was big in archaeology. Yeah, Allie knows. You wear SPF 30 in the UK. Do you need sunscreen in the UK? I'm kidding. I found a full coverage foundation that matches my body skin tone, which is mostly even. You do like that Maybelline Stream Matte Mousse? I've looked at that a couple times. I have a Neutrogena. Before I bought this one, I was wearing Neutrogena True Match, I want to call it. And I liked that a lot. It was very light. Decided I need to warn people to wear sunscreen. Seriously, that song is no joke. Always wear your sunscreen. There is, in this day and age, there is no reason not to. It's in everything. One of the reasons I picked the Neutrogena sunscreen back in before I started using this one was because it has an SPF built into it. I think it has an SPF of like 15 or something like that. But my moisturizer that I use has an SPF of 30, which, you know, big deal, whatever. But so my point is my sunscreen is in my moisturizer, so it's part of my skincare routine. And if I don't wear my moisturizer, I've got the CeraVe tinted stuff, and then Elf also has a Halo Glow tinted sunscreen, which I do like, and it's very, very light, but you sparkle. You look like a vampire. You look like a Twilight vampire when you wear it. So be prepared. And your hands will look like you did this into glitter. So just be prepared. Somebody told me what the name of it was, and I'm sure Alexandra's mentioned the name of it a million times, the tinted sunscreen, but I was briefly Anais. I know some people don't like to talk about clowns. There's a video game called Killer Clowns from Outer Space, though. I fucking want to play that game in the worst possible way. I need to download it. But After Salem, that's an After Salem problem. Kidding caught up here. Product I'm talking about is a tinting cream. Oh, sunless tanner mixed with moisturizer. Interesting. That might be a neat trick. I have tried Japanese sweet potato before. It's delicious. I like to bake it and then eat it with butter. It's delicious. All right, let's do some actual questions. That's what y'all came here for. Right. Oh, hey, hi, hello there. Welcome to an episode of An Anthropologist Answers Your Questions. So I scrolled all the way down to the beginning, which was 11 days ago. Oh my god, I'm getting messages from frickin' Discord. I'll answer this later. Those are not part of this. Let's see. Hannah Friedman asks, you might have answered this, but how did you get into the girls? All right, we'll start with that one. I have a friend who I met online via Discord, and she resides in the Philippines, so we've never met, but she's one of my dearest friends. And she introduced me to Amber. Yeah. I don't know why I was thinking about that. Anyway, that was like 6 years ago, a long time ago. And I remember watching her and being like, because that was back when Amber's face was like, she looked like two perfectly round balls stacked on top of each other. And I was just like, this can't be real. This person cannot be a real person. And I just got sucked into watching it because I was just, it was the train wreck effect. I was just like, how does this person work? And yeah, and I've been part of it. And then I started discovering the reactors. I think I watched Zachary Michael at first. I was around for Charlie Gold. I don't know if Charlie Gold's still making things. I don't watch Charlie at all anymore. But I got dedicated to watching Kicking Geese, and that's pretty much the only Amber reactor that I still like hardcore follow. And then I still watch Alex's Shook, but I think I was around when Alex started his channel, so who else did I watch for a long time there? But I mean, I remember well, there were a bunch of people that were reacting to stuff who aren't around anymore, who I really adored. And yeah, so I'm trying to think of their names and I can't. And I was like, oh, I could go back through my videos. I'm not going to. That's way too much effort. But yeah, so that's how I got sucked into it. And then, I don't know, last year is when I started doing my own reactions. And that, again, was because of Kicking Geese. And I was just like, I want to react. And Kicking Geese, I don't know, there's just something about Kicking Geese's channel that I was just kind of like, yeah, it inspired me. So here we are. Here we are. And I was like, I'm an anthropologist. I can put my own spin on this shit. So I did. Uh, also, is paranormal archaeology the study of urban legends and dark folk monsters? No, but yes. There's actually a whole there's a whole study field called, give me a second, my brain needs to catch up with me. Anyway, there's already a field that studies folklore, usually falls under history. Um, but no, paranormal archaeology archaeology is the study of human interaction with things that they perceive to be paranormal. All right. You go into it not trying to prove if something is or is not paranormal, because that isn't the point. The point is, how are people reacting to something now that it has been determined to be paranormal? So, like, my example has always been, like, I don't know, let's go with this for an example. This is, Elf's watermelon jelly pop glow reviver lip oil. Cool, right? If you like watermelon scents, you're gonna like this. If you like pink glitter, you're gonna like this. But beyond that, most people are gonna be like, now, what if I told you that this lip reviving oil is actually made with holy water or some kind of blessed element? Like, each one of these is chanted over by a very specific shaman, and that if you use this regularly, this magical substance now is going to restore your youth, right? Now, how many of you are interested? And how many of you are like, no, that's bullshit? Of course. That's what I want to know. Because even if you are a non-believer, your reaction to something that has been deemed paranormal is still being altered by the fact that I've now told you that this is paranormal in nature, right? Whether you're skeptical or a believer or indifferent, you now approach this object differently than you would have if I had said nothing about it. All right. The Annabelle doll is a really good example of that. People are either terrified of the Annabelle doll because they know it's because they're like, oh, it's Annabelle. Or they're like, I'm going to go challenge Annabelle to murder me in my sleep, kind of a thing. If I just put a Raggedy Ann doll in a room, you might walk into the room and be like, well, okay, that's creepy because it's a Raggedy Ann doll. But beyond that point, unless you knew that doll was Annabelle, you wouldn't have any real reaction to it, probably. So, Justine does have glorious hair. Sure that drag you? I never watched Michael be petty because he was too petty. I remember watching a couple of his reactions and I was just like, dude, you've got to relax. He was like beyond nitpicky. And that's actually why I stopped watching Zachary Michael. Because he just got too picky. Carrie Marty, look, Quirky Love Rose. You're a celebrity. Hello, textbook. I'm trying to catch up with the chat here. Common sense, that's amazing. Never really thought about that, but there you go. We didn't know Raggedy Ann dolls, so for a lot of people, didn't associate the image with the horror. Right, and then there's that. Like, the horror movie uses a completely different doll. Like, a lot of people think the Annabelle doll looks like the horror movie doll, and it's not. It's just a Raggedy Ann doll. So. Hey, I'm glad to be your workout buddy. Sort of, kind of, not really. I need to work out. Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to think she's some kind of deity. All right. Zanku666, good name, says, I find it interesting how you can extrapolate Goral world into archaeology. I do more anthropology, but I suppose I could, if pressed, I could extrapolate it into archaeology. I could. It's sad that for future humans, they will know a 600-pound woman with heavily narcissistic personality disorder was alive. We don't diagnose on this channel. I'm just saying, don't. I don't care if people in my comments do. We don't diagnose. I'm not a doctor. Um, and known by most of her actions are the example of what not to do, since future humans will not have the context. They would think she was some kind of deity. And that's how the goddess of lies will be created. I like that. Goddess of lies. It's a good one. I like that. Let me highlight this. I just think it's easier to keep track of things. And you guys, I mean, I know you probably can't read it that well, but you guys can see it, right? Anyway. So here's the thing with archaeology. There's a joke in archaeology where when we can't explain what something is, it must be ritual. We've kind of pulled away from that because obviously that was hyperbolic. If we don't know what something means, we just leave it open-ended. It could be one thing, it could be another. We don't know. And 90% of the time, if you ever find an archaeologist who will stake their personal reputation on something 100%, that person's probably full of shit. No archaeologist will, no good archaeologist is going to go 100%. This is one thing. No, we always leave room for there to be something different. Because here's the thing with history. We weren't there. We don't know. And like Zanku's saying here, the context is very important. So even when we're watching something like a video, the context that goes into that video, and even the era that video comes out, the time period in which that video is being watched, you know, like the global events that are going on while that video is in existence or being watched or consumed in that moment, is going to change how A, people interact with said video, and B, what that video means to any one individual, right? We can all sit here and watch an ALR video together, and each one of us is going to take something different away. Now, the majority of us might take away a very similar thing, but it's going to be vaguely different for each person, right? Does that make sense? Now, Amber is very well documented, and this is something that I've always thought is very interesting with the internet, especially places like Kiwi Farms and that kind of thing, because they do spend time, not just with Amber, but many different, like, problematic internet personalities are very well documented on locations like that. And they're better documented than some positive historical figures that we have, right? Excuse me, I had peanut butter and it hates me. So going forward, as long as the internet is around, which, I mean, probably we're going to have the internet for a while, there will be documentation of these people that's accessible, researchable, and reviewable on the internet for as long as we can perceive, right? So that's going to change how people know about various figures at different points. But also keep in mind, the internet is vast. And so, yes, there's going to be all of this documentation about Amber out there for eons, probably, as long as the internet exists, right? Amber doesn't exist in a vacuum. She's not the only person on the internet. There are thousands, millions other people who are as well documented, better known. Like, Amber's well known here in the States, very well known in the UK. Can I say she's that well known in Korea? Can I say she's that well known in any country in Africa? Like, I can't say that because I don't know. And also, various cultures tend to have their own internet personalities that mean more to them in any given moment, right? So it was a very long-winded way of saying, yes, Amber's very well documented, but I don't think some 100 years in the future they're going to think that Amber herself is some kind of great figure, because really, when you break it down, Amber's just a drop in the bucket, as we all are. You guys over here playing, remember? Cabbage Patch Dolls. Oh no, that's fine. You can speculate and compare all you want. You're fangirling in my chat? I don't care. Not fangirl away, Carrie Marty. Berkey Loverose is a really cool person. Allie. That's why I try to read things. I know some people are just listening. Yeah, Rubenesque paintings are a great intersection or insertion. Rubenesque paintings kind of stand out because he purposely was painting different bodies, and that was his shtick. That was what he wanted to do. But his paintings are not indicative of that time period. Like it, I know people. I know Fat Acceptance and Hayes like to be like, "Oh, look, these Rubenesque paintings. You know, he's glorifying obese bodies." First off, if you look at any of his paintings, those women are larger, and I mean they were probably obese for their time period. But compare them to the women of today, these are not the same bodies. And secondly, he was different than other painters of his era. Most people were not painting the female form in that way because it wasn't considered beautiful. I'm sure there were plenty of people who were like, "Yes, those women are gorgeous," but like overall, that wasn't the style of the time. But he's a good person to look at in that kind of aspect because like his paintings are very popular and they're still very popular as far as like the art world is concerned. You know, he made a mark on the art world in that way. But sadness for the Flash games. The best Flash games are awesome. We watch all your content with great joy. Oh, good. I'm glad you guys enjoy. Yeah, he of course can't diagnose, but oh my, the discussions. Yeah, Carrie Marty. Yeah. Oh no, my partner and I go rounds, not arguments, but we speculate back and forth too. And he doesn't watch any of this stuff. Yeah, Lee. The problem is, yeah, usually with older digital stuff, yeah, file formats. But see, here's the thing with the internet. The internet doesn't necessarily run on file formats. I mean, I'm sure somewhere along the line it does, but I mean, somewhere the internet physically exists. There's a room somewhere with a bunch of machines that are doing calculations and stuff. I mean, it's not a joke that it's all tubes and wires, but somewhere the internet is physical. It is a physical thing somewhere. Should all of those machines get shut off, we no longer have the internet. But there's redundancy at this point, so and it's the redundancy that's going to keep the internet alive. Um, yeah, Hillary. But here's yeah, because like Katie Elizabeth Stanton, Elizabeth Katie Stanton. There we go, Elizabeth Katie Stanton. She was big, and I think she was like 300 pounds. That was amazingly large at the time. Which painter am I talking about? Ruben. I don't know his full name, but he's the person that we get the term Rubenesque from, referring to voluptuous women. Um, Apple killed Flash. Yeah, his beauty is suggestive, and it shouldn't be the biggest highlight. Yeah, no. Some people are going to find different. Some people are going to find different things more attractive than others. That's how we're wired. That's why when people are like, "Oh, everybody's trying to conform to a beauty standard." I mean, yeah, maybe, but not everybody finds that beauty standard to be attractive. So, yes, Lee. Victorian era was the first to use Photoshop. Bet you didn't know that. Yeah, some of you probably did. And there's a significant survivor bias in clothing. Yes, trying to explain what you watch to people. Yeah, that's a hard one. Type 2 if you can hear me and see me moving. Yeah, I know. Something froze up. I know there's no sound or video. So let me know if you guys can see and hear me. Because otherwise, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Who remembers putties? Excellent, 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 excellent. Good, 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 good. I don't know what that was. I apologize. The stream's current bit rate is lower than the recommended bit rate. We recommend that you do something. We recommend you use a stream bit rate of... Okay. I don't know how to fix the problem, but I will be looking into that for the future. So, sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I'm just checking my sound settings since the mic went in and out. Nope, we're good. Okay, cool. Yay. Well, one problem averted. Alright, anyway, I'm back. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, guys. I don't know why that happened. Anyway, excuse me. The Fae are out to get me. Yeah, I need to get that cream and bread down, eh? I have too many tabs open. We don't need to look at Whoopi Goldberg anymore, eh? I'll watch that later. Who else is open? And we can come back to that. And that. And that. Don't need those. Gotta keep that open because that's my stream. Alright, we're good, I think. We're better. Isn't it funny I hamstring myself? Psst. I will come back to paranormal archaeology. Well, actually, I did just explain what paranormal archaeology is, so... Well, I didn't just, but I did a minute ago. Sorry about that, guys. Let's get back to this, though. What inspired me? Danny Parker says, what inspired you to get into anthropology, archaeology originally? I wanted to do forensics when I graduated high school, but the college I got accepted to did not have a forensics department yet. And so they told me that my best bet would be to study physical anthropology, which is the study of the human body. And I specialized in human osteology because I don't like wet things. And so I also have a minor in criminal justice back in the day. So there's that. And then I did not go into forensics. When I graduated, there were no jobs, and a archaeology graduate student told me about a website called Shovel Bums, and I went there and I got my very first job off of Shovel Bums, and I became what is referred to as a shovel bum, and did that for like 25 years. Don't worry, Brosh, you just missed a huge chunk of my internet going down. That's fine. So there you go. That's how I got into anthropology and archaeology. So yes, Bones. I was very similar to Bones, or that's what I kind of wanted to be. But I was inspired by CSI. I was part of the CSI generation. You remember the TV show? There were a lot of us that went into forensics because of that show. Some of us made it. Others of us did not. Others of us went into archaeology. Meh, meh, meh. Did I follow PBS Eons? I did not. This is the Princess Brat. That looks like Brioche. I think this is your question. Just going off your icon. I did not follow PBS Eons. Oh, wait. There used to be a show on PBS where they would take people and have them basically live like they were out of, a lot of times, the Victorian era or the Edwardian era, and they would have them like live that way for like 30 to 60 days. Is that what you're talking about? Because I love the hell out of that show. And there were several different iterations of that. They had one where they took people out into the Wild West, too. And that one was pretty funny because the family they picked to take out to the Wild West, the women just quit doing any kind of chores around the house. Would I go back to archaeology? I would go back into archaeology. I wouldn't go back into CRM. But I mean, technically, I still do archaeology. I just don't do field work like that. Gunnarat. I turned my focus into gaming archaeology and paranormal archaeology. And now dark anthropology. Mwah. Thunderclouds. If you could join or conduct an excavation research anywhere, I would either like to go to Mongolia because I'm in love with Mongolia and just the history and the folk tradition of Mongolia. I just think it's beautiful and cool. But I also know that's a pipe dream. Or I would like to go study more of the Norse culture as far as I could. That would be kind of neat to do. So those would be my dreams. Neither of those will ever happen. I'm not qualified to do any of that. In terms of dark anthropology and social media, am I paying attention to any particular patterns? I kind of dropped out of the social media sphere, honestly. This channel is dragging me back in, kicking and screaming, so no, but only because I haven't been paying enough attention. I'm sure once I get fully ensconced into TikTok, it'll self-destruct because that seems to be the habit. So I don't know. I can answer that question better later, but right now, no. Yeah, Quirky, you can always go back to college. Always go back. I mean, here's the thing with college, though. Like, do you need to go to college or do you want to go to college? Because college is very expensive and the payout is not necessarily guaranteed, especially today. So if you don't have to go to college, I wouldn't do it. Bonk. But if you want to go to college and you can afford to pay for it mostly out of your own pocket, knock yourself out. The debt that you incur going to college is not worth it. Look, I turned you off. You should not be continuing to ring. Bad alarm. Bad. There we go. Yay. All right. Stevie, can you do a rune reading and a lesson on how to read sometime? Sometime. It's kind of... Runes are both easy and difficult. I don't know how to... It's like playing chess. I can teach you how to play chess, but to be good at it, you have to practice. And it's very complicated to get good at chess. Runes are kind of the same way. And I'm not trying to be like... I'm not trying to be dismissive. I don't know, we can do a rune video sometime. That wouldn't be too far outside of the realm. Who is Robert Sablowski? Should I know who that is? Oh, determinate. I have no idea who this dude is. Robert Morris Sablowski. I think I'm saying that wrong. An American academic, neuroscientist, and primatologist. He is the John A. and Cynthia Fry Gunn Professor at Stanford and a Professor of Biology and Neurology. I am not a neurologist, nor am I a biologist. I have no idea who this guy is. I have no opinion of him. So I don't... biological anthropology. All right, I see where the connection is. I'm like, I don't know why I should know. Look. Dude graduated the same year I was born, all right? Give me a break. I don't know. He looks like he's pretty well traveled. Cynthia A. Yeah, you told me that earlier. Focus attention on the issues of stress and neuronal generation of gene therapy strategies. Working on a gene transfer technique to strengthen neuron. This is something I would totally ask anyone else except me. Schizotypical disorders and the development of shamanism. Okay, I see. In the major Western religions, in this context, he has noticed similarities between obsessive compulsive behavior and religious rituals. Okay. You know. It's been featured widely in the press for his documentary Stress, a Portrait of a Killer. Speaking style. Yeah, human behavioral, garnered attention, specialized in primatology, blah, blah, blah. Jerry told me that a million times. Has a vigorously argued for a deterministic view of human behavior. There is no free will, or at least that there is much less free will than generally assumed. That's really going to determine what he thinks free will is. Da, da, da. I mean, if his research is solid, that's fine. I mean, I don't necessarily have to agree with him, but his science is solid. But that's the problem with this branch of science. I mean, we're all just speculating. It's theoretical at best. Word for behavioral science. I mean, not really. I don't have an opinion, and just going off the wiki article, which I'm going to admit is all I know about this man, it doesn't. Seems like he's a decent researcher. He probably makes some very good points. You have to remember everything he knows, he's viewing from his own biases and viewpoints. That doesn't make him wrong. That doesn't make his research bad. It just means that he's got a different outlook on things, which probably contributes to his determinism versus not determinism. But, you know, not anthropology, not really archaeology, definitely not archaeology. There is a, what is it called? Psychological anthropology. I still think it's kind of field in development, will we put it that way. I wouldn't put too much weight into it right now, I guess is my point. I know a lot of people want to because they want to believe that psychology is that easy to understand, and it really isn't. Culture is very complicated. The no free will thing really does come down to what are you defining as free will? Because there are vastly different concepts of what free will is and isn't throughout the world, so the Stanford lecture series is available on YouTube. I might look into that, Lee. I might. I mean, his stuff sounds interesting. I mean, I wouldn't drop out of high school, but some people can do that and just be just fine. I would at least stay in high school. I would at least finish under school. Upper school, not so much. I mean, if that Jane Fonda, if that's how he wants to live his life, that we have no free will and life is just happening, I mean, whatever. How does he explain crime? That's all I want to know. Like, how do you explain crime and punishment? That's where the free will arguments start to fall apart. The determinism versus free will things start to fall apart. If there is no free will, we can't punish criminals because they have no control over what they're doing. You know? Hey man, schooling does not determine intelligence. Let's just put that one to bed right now. Um Embrace the beard. Yes, apparently beards make you intelligent. What advice would I give someone who wishes to get into anthropology? Let me think about that one. Because I don't have a lot of nice things to say. I'd love to hear about archaeogaming. Archaeogaming, okay. Archaeogaming is the study of the intersection between archaeology and gaming. Understanding that a game world, gaming paraphernalia, it exists as both artifacts and as landscapes. And that's a lot of jargon, and I apologize. But basically, you can look at a gaming world, even something as simple as Pong, to something as complicated as whatever the current MMORG is popular right now, that gaming world. You can look at it as both like a lived human landscape as well as looking at it as an artifact itself, because no game ever just popped out of existence. Just all games have been created by human hands. So all games are inherently an artifact. Hang on real quick. Therefore, all game landscapes are archaeological in nature. Boy, that requires a lot of jargon. I need to work on my my pitch for that. But basically, it's just it's not necessarily doing archaeology in a game because it's more than that, but my particular focus in archeo gaming is looking at the storytelling aspect of a game, looking to see what kind of material culture the game developers chose to use in order to tell the story about the game. And yes, that includes things like ants on a tree in a video game. The ants do not exist on the tree. Someone chose that there should be ants on the tree. Um, that kind of a thing. But arcade gaming is pretty. It's a newer field. It's a lot of fun, but a lot of people don't take it seriously because gaming. But you know, it's developing, and I think it is a very important field considering how important games and gaming are to modern society. I mean, you'd be ridiculous. It'd be ridiculous not to look at it and not to study it seriously, because some people exist inside games. You know, like that's their whole world. One can go to school, university, college, and get all the academics. That doesn't necessarily make them clever. Yeah, I mean, education's education. I see the Dark Souls archaeologist. I've been following them. I need to watch their videos. I subscribed to them and then never watched any of it, but I did subscribe them. Hellfire, you had to sign out of school at 15.5 years and went for a GED later. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with getting your GED. The thing is so many jobs require you to either have your high school education or a GED in order to do them. Whereas your college education is still kind of optional for the most part. I apologize. My eye is really watering. That's the only reason why I'm like, you should probably stay in high school. At least finish that one out. Or I guess get your GED if you can't finish high school. Because there's a lot of reasons why some people can't finish high school. There's, you know, everybody's got different life circumstances. What made me decide to explore dark anthropology? Because I needed a way to apply anthropology to girl world. And honestly, the girls are more interesting when you study them through how they're trying to manipulate the world as opposed to how the world is interacting with them, which is also interesting. Don't get me wrong. The girl world itself is very interesting to me. The reactors, the haters, the casual watchers, those people are all very interesting to me. But dark anthropology allows me to focus more on the individual girls and the different niches that they've created around themselves. The Amberverse, for example. So, and honestly, I knew everybody would just kind of like the term dark anthropology. It's not a it's not a real field. It's not a real termed field right now. There is the anthropology of manipulation. There's people who study the anthropology of political science, that kind of stuff. So those all fall under what would be considered dark anthropology, because they're all looking at like the darker aspects of human society. You know. Yeah, I'm getting teary-eyed over gaming. Oh my god. Elden's Ring. I still have trauma from Elden's Ring. I never played it, actually. Your bonus mom knows how to get your old records about Pell Grants and financial aids. Is somebody missing their stuff? Oh yeah, forensic psychiatrist. Yeah, no. No thanks. But, you know, body language. Some people like it, some people don't. You took a class on deviance. That's how I got interested in sociology and anthropology. Basically all the ologies. Yeah, deviance is interesting. I took a class on serial murderers. I needed the extra credit, and it was interesting. So I still have all the books from that class, too. Very interesting class. Very interesting class. Still sticks with me to this day. Class. I mean, high school sucks for everybody. I'm not downplaying anyone. I'm just saying, like, I don't know a lot of people that had a good time in high school. It's terrible, especially the way we do it here in the States. It's just a horrible place. Do I think Girl World is too saturated in the moment as far as reaction channels and just FA haze creators? I mean, as the casual consumer, maybe. As a researcher, studier, no. I think the more the merrier, because that's each new person brings a new perspective, brings a new lens, brings a new whatever to the party. So you know? I mean, not to pick on Quirky, but even Quirky's channel does fall into these things, and like it's very interesting to watch people react to Quirky, um, and how vice versa. Like it's very interesting to see. I mean, there's people out there who don't like me, and that's fine. But it's interesting to see why they don't like me, how they're reacting to the content that I'm creating. For my own mental sake, I'm just like, whatever, I don't care. But, you know, what if I was a little bit more confrontational? It would be very interesting to see what I chose to push back on, how I chose to push back, that kind of stuff. That's why when Amber's always coming out of when Amber comes after her audience, I always find it really interesting because of the things she chooses to go after her audience for versus things that she decides not to go after them for, you know? And didn't have my size. That's right. Excuse me. Body language is fascinating because I do believe it is a real thing. Can it be used in all of the ways people want you to believe it can be used? No. It's still language. And language can be very deceptive. Having pizza. Yeah, table games. Table games are part of gaming. Role-playing games, TTGs, those are still part of gaming. Card games. Yeah, that's why when people tell me that they want to start reacting to things, I mean, go for it. Yeah, see, and that's, again, Quirky brings like a different perspective because Quirky started out as somebody already part of Girl World and studying Girl World and fully aware of what it is and decided for whatever strange reason to be like, I'm in. So, you know, more power to you. I don't know if I would have been that brave personally. Knowing what I was getting into, I don't know if I would have been that brave. What's my favorite hobby outside of YouTube? What is my favorite hobby? I don't have any right now. Playing Sims, does that count? I recently discovered a game called Project Zombie something. Uh-huh. Boy, that sold you on it, didn't it? Zomboid, Project Zomboid. Oh my god, that game. It will eat your life. Don't start playing it unless you've got time. What's one thing about yourself you really want your subscribers to know? It'll come up when it comes up, I guess. I don't just FYI, I'm not good at questions like this. I don't know what to say. When these things come up in like interviews and shit, I'm just like, they're like, what's your greatest strength? Well, obviously not quick thinking. So I'm terrible at these kind of questions. Who's my favorite person to cover? My favorite person to cover? I normally like covering Amber, honestly, even when she aggravates the hell out of me. But right now, I think I'm liking Anna over everybody else right now. Just because, I don't know, just because I can sort of kind of relate and also like, I don't know if I can actually relate, but I do kind of like, she's not a horrible person, I guess. She's insufferable at points, but she's not like a horrible person. Like she hasn't done anything terrible. She's just fake. And I mean, if that's the worst thing I can say about somebody, I think she's doing okay. Who's the one I dread the most? The person I dread the most covering is Foodie because I never know when she's going to be absolutely terrible. Like beyond words terrible. Oh no, you found me. Any chance in revisiting pseudo-archaeology in the future? I'm getting the itch. My problem here's my problem with the ArchaeFantasies channel. I feel like I've neglected it for so long at this point. I'm afraid to try to start it back up again. It's a mental block, it really is. Also, I'm still mad at Graham Hancock. I'm not mad at Graham Hancock. I still want to cover Graham Hancock's latest TV show that happened 2-3 years ago at this point. So, and that's the other end of pseudo-archaeology. Like, the stuff, one of the reasons why the podcast went on hiatus is because I just kept repeating myself. And that's honestly why Ken and Jeb moved on, because like there's just nothing. We were just repeating ourselves over and over and over again. And Ken decided to retire in general, and Jeb moved on to do another, what is it called? I think it's called In Research of, but him and Blake from Monster Talk got together and put together a new podcast and started doing that instead. So, I mean, I think 11 years is pretty good for a podcast, you know, for a blog and a podcast. So, I don't know. I get the itch to get back into the pseudo archaeology every now and then, but we'll see. Right now, this channel honestly is taking up a lot of my time. So, also, I can't get that channel monetized to save my goddamn life. So, very frustrated about that one. And it's not that I want to be like, I don't think I'm going to be like making money. It's just irritating because every fucking time I got this close, YouTube went in and changed all the criteria. Every damn time. It just irritated me. But anyway, over it. Over it. Obviously. Damn, Quirky, how many questions did you ask? There's one thing I could change about being a reaction channel on YouTube. What would it be? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, but that's a good question. I don't have an answer, but it's a good question. I don't know, Quirky, what would you do? Turn that around on you. This is info for the internet. Yeah, I don't have my name on the internet. I haven't said my name on this channel, but, you know, it's not that hard to find me. I always say that. Obviously, other people have found me. Tiny's fine. I've been called Tiny on the internet for so damn long at this point. Let's see. Anna Human says, does your own knowledge and research of anthropology and sociology influence, I'm not a sociologist, but that's neither here nor there. I don't know why I felt like I needed to correct that. Influence how you react with other people from, oh yeah. We start over there. Does your own knowledge of research in anthropology and sociology influence how you interact with other people, friends, family, anyone you might talk to outside? Yes. Did you suddenly realize you had certain traits because of your own research and have unintentionally had to correct yourself in the past? Yes. This is very, 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 very common for people that stick with anthropology, because once you get past the introductory courses, you start getting into the more nuanced, like specialized courses. And literally the point is to study culture and various different types of culture. And in order to do that, you must first examine yourself. You must look within before you can look without. And I think most people that go through anthropology courses, any number of anthropology courses, do come out the other end having a completely different view on life. And I think that's good. And I also think that's why I think everybody should take at least one anthropology course. And I think everybody should take at least one sociology course. They're very similar, but they're not the same. And it does give you a different perspective on life. There's a lot of things that, you know, you grow up dumb. That's all I have to say. But then you get older and things get pointed out to you and you're like, oh, wow, I didn't realize that. So yeah, there's a lot of things that I've ceased doing, started doing. And a lot of that I will credit to the fact that I went through anthropology and I basically learned that there are other people out there besides me and other cultures out there, and different cultures have different perspectives, and depending on how you were raised is really going to affect a lot of what you think, do, and say, you know? And I think the bigger measure of a person is to see how you can't help your biases, but how you choose to react after you understand you're being biased. That, I think, is the bigger determiner of a person. Because if you decide to continue charging forward, unquestioning your biases, I think that says a lot about somebody versus somebody who goes, wait a minute, let me think about it, and then go, okay, maybe I'm doing that simply because I'm biased, as opposed to not necessarily being the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do at any point. Open-ended questions are not my strong point. They are not now. You should truly pity my therapist. She's learned very quickly not to ask me those kind of questions, because then we sit there all day. What's the coolest archaeological thing I ever worked on? Uh, so there's these layers of dirt, right? I'm not joking. There was a stratification in this one mound this one time. Wasn't a burial mound, it was just a mound. But the way that the layers of dirt, the strata, were moving. I actually did my master's thesis, one of my master's projects on this. And it was just really neat because you could see where the mound had been built originally. You could see where the structure of the mound had failed over time. You could see how the people in that moment decided to rebuild the mound. Like you could see the layers of dirt. Now they're very pronounced because this was a man-made mound. But you can do a very similar process with natural mounds as well. And it's actually kind of how you know the difference between natural and man-made, other than man-made tend to be fairly obvious. Tend to be. But those layers of dirt, those were probably the most fascinating thing I've ever found. I was a dirt person. I liked soil a lot. So, and I know I just like made every geologist in this chat go, it's not dirt, it's soil. I know. But thank you, Lucy Jane. That's a good question. What's my favorite topic in archaeology / anthropology? Honestly, the paranormal archaeology's that's my favorite thing right now. Gaming archaeology is pretty damn good. It's a good close second. I liked doing pseudoscience. I liked looking at pseudo-archaeology. I mean, I didn't coin the term, but I made it common knowledge. So I enjoyed the pseudo-archaeology. There's just only so much of it. Yeah, I know. Y'all can come for me on the dirt. It's fine. I'm going to keep saying it anyway. Why aren't I in the field now? I kept getting injured and I got tired of it. I have tore my shoulder out in a dig one year because we were digging in frozen. That was a cooler project I was on, which I think is why I let myself get injured, because it was a neat project. But the soil the soil was mostly clay, and it was clay, like solid clay. And my unit partner was a guy, and he kept filling the buckets too high, and I didn't say anything, and I kept picking them up. And there was one bucket that I picked up. Now we have to screen the dirt, and you have to screen clay as well. It has to go through the screen. So I picked it up, and I didn't pick it up right. And as I was tipping it over into the screen, I felt it. It just was like tearing paper. And my shoulder hasn't been the same since. And then the last few times I've gone out, I got heat stroke. And then one of the last times I went out, I don't know how I managed it, but I got blisters so bad on my feet that I couldn't walk. And it just got to be, it was just unpleasant. Also, there is no money in archaeology. There is no money in archaeology. And I got tired of being poor. So we are like the lowest paid, but yet highest educated field. Beezus. Who is Beezus? Wait, what happened? Some of you know my government name. If you guys find it out, please don't share it. I don't care if you know it, just don't share it. No, it's not tiny. It's not legally tiny. It should be, though. Wouldn't that be amazing? Death by camel. What happened? I look away from the chat. What happened? Anna is more interesting right now. Yes. Anna has a very... And honestly, reading Anna's book makes Anna more interesting. I used to watch Minuteman. I think he's amazing, Lee. I think he's a genius. He figured out TikTok before everyone else, and he deserves all of his accolades. I watched a couple of his pseudoscience minutes, and oh man, he is good. And I like his style. I like his style. Oh, we're talking about Chantel. Hancock's interesting, but so close. Let's see. With all the questions. No, it's fine. if I could speak with one of the girls. I don't know. I'm not really that interested in interacting with the girls, but I guess if I had to pick somebody, it would be Anna. I'm sorry, guys. My eye is just like, I need to like pull it out, wash it off, and put it back in, apparently. Tiny Yetta. That would be amazing. I may legally change my name to Tiny Yetta. Joke's on all of you. There we go. Psychology is also a really good class to take, but I feel like if we start piling all of these intro classes onto people. Oh, well, thank you, Bizazan. Bizazan is pretty funny. I'm glad you guys like my channel. I really do. Your aunt is a geologist. Ooh, don't you do Corgi? If your aunt ever wants to talk, like, PA rock with me, especially Chert, I would be more than happy to talk with her about it. Broken Zelda Breath of the Wild. I actually, Midori, thought about doing Zelda Breath of the Wild for my master's thesis, but chose to do Elder Scrolls instead. As far as, like, Archaeo gaming. Excuse me. Have there been any interesting Oh, yeah, no. We don't have time, Brosh. We don't have time. But yes, there's plenty of good stuff out there. Some of it I was involved in. Minuteman's good. I'm too stuck on long form. As is evident, I can't do short form stuff. I mean, I can, but it just doesn't feel like it turns out very well. Tiny bit. Do people like lump legs genuinely believe they're I think you're talking about Jordan Underwood, and yes, I think Jordan Underwood really does believe what Jordan says to themselves. You'd appreciate it if I would answer my very important, highly germane question about my favorite silly movie, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Followed by, let me think. Oh, Hell Comes to Frogtown. So, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, good movie, you should watch it. Hell Comes to Frogtown, good movie, you should come to it. They, or is it They Live? That's another Roddy Piper movie. Toxic Avenger. Let's see. Oh, it's not a silly movie, but if you guys haven't gone to see Furiosa yet, do yourself a favor, go see Furiosa. It's 2.5 hours, just warning you. Yeah, I know he's got a YouTube now. Is it more than just a compilation? Because that's what he was doing. He was just putting all of his TikToks together, which is fine. Because that's how I watched it. Oh, thank you, Nikki. I appreciate that. Well, yeah, bro, you really can choose your own reality if you want to. They is Rowdy, yeah, it's a good movie. Yeah, Hillary. I went back for my master's around 2019. Would not recommend. He does long form content now. Good. He should. He's good. It doesn't surprise you in the least. Well, fine. Who did I miss? What's my biggest inspiration in the field? I don't know how to answer that. I'm sorry. That's a terrible answer to that, Carol Brandt. All right, wait. I answered that one. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, everybody who's been giving congratulations. I really do appreciate that. I'm not trying to be too casual about it. If anyone is interested in learning more topics I talk about, where would you recommend they start? As far as like girl world, I would start with Zachary Michael, even Michael B. Petty. I would check out Apathetic Facts. Who's the other really good compilation channel? I mean, Mr. Snowflake. As far as dark anthropology, I I keep saying I'm going to put a reading list together for that, and I still haven't done it, so I don't have a good answer for that. Wait. That was my partner, making sure he didn't send me a message. He tries to be polite when I'm live, so I say that like he's never polite. Okay. He'll send me a message if something important happens. All right. Allie says, congratulations. Thank you. I appreciate it. Whether it's just showing the edited highlights of their life to make it appear. All right, hang on. I find it fascinating how people betray or portray themselves on social media. Whether it's just showing the edited highlights of their life to make it appear more positive, to the multi-layered catfishes out there where a single person creates a practically imaginary world that real people interact with, not knowing if it's true or not. What person, girl world or otherwise, with a not so true or completely untrue online persona do you think is the most interesting and why? Who is that guy? Chris. It's not a guy. Chris Chan. There we go. Chris Chan fascinates me on a level that I would not feel comfortable covering Chris Chan because I know enough about Chris Chan's background and just like in general their mental state that I would not feel comfortable covering them. But I think they are a very fascinating person, not just because they really have just created their own reality around themselves, but also because of how the internet reacts to and treats them as an individual. So I think Chris Chan falls into that. Again, I would never react to them because that's just a blow too low for me in my personal opinion. I'm not going to knock people who want to cover Chris. That's fine. It's just not something I feel comfortable doing. But I am fascinated by them on just so many levels. I feel like if anybody in like anthropology would want to write a really interesting research paper or even a thesis on like an internet persona or person, Chris Chan would be very fascinating. Not only because they're like one of the most documented YouTube personalities out there, but also because there's just so much people interacting with them, people baiting them. Chris like charts their entire development online. I mean, there's just a lot there. It's dark as F, which also makes it more interesting, unfortunately, because we are humans and ergo ghouls. So yeah, that would be. I find Chris Chan very, very fascinating, but no, I'm not doing Chris Chan. No, I spoke its name. Does that mean does that mean they'll appear like Beetlejuice? By the way, there's going to be a new Beetlejuice movie. I am stoked. Somebody, there we go. A tiny blue anthropologist. Any interest in looking at J-Bay? Yeah, I actually am looking at J-Bay. I don't know if you're spelling it correctly because I've seen people spell it a million different ways at this point. And yes, J-Bay totally 100% maliciously manipulates her audience. So yes, J-Bay's on my list. They Live is underappreciated, yes. Excuse me. What is the average movie time right now in Common Sense? 2 hours, give or take. Remember Roddy Piper when he was a wrestler? Yep. You don't like comedy movies? Well, okay, so excuse me, I'm sorry. They Live and Hell Comes to Frogtown are not technically comedies. They're both action movies, but they are funny. I can't say the same thing about The Toxic Avenger. That one is 100% a parody movie. But Killer Clowns from Outer Space is actually a horror. It's classified as a horror movie. So there you go. If that makes you more interested in watching any of those, they're not technically comedies, but they are comedic. Oh, Slither. That's another really good one. Talking about like comedic horror movies. That's a Gunn movie. Shoot, what was his name? James Gunn. Yeah. That was one of his early ones. Um, that one's hands down one of my favorite horror movies ever. Shaun of the Dead, hands down, one of the best horror movies ever. Hey, peanut butter cookie cocoa dude's here. Mr. Snowflakes is the best place to start. Yeah, Mr. Snowflakes is good. Mr. Snowflake does really good stuff, and so does starts with an O. Omegon. Omegon does good stuff too on that, and Omegon keeps a yearly up to date thing on all of the girls in Girl World. Also a good place to go for things on Chantel, aka Foodie Booty. Ha ha ha. I sent you to Snowflake. Excellent. He pops in every now and then. And I'm always tickled when he does. When he comes in, when Jimmy Bunker pops in, I always get a kick out of that. Kicking Geese occasionally will pop in. I get a huge... Big Trouble in Little China, yes, definitely that's on the list. Yeah, Toxic is a variation of the... Yeah, it's a comedy. It's a parody of that, yeah. Me? You thought I was 33? God, no. You're talking about someone else. Yes, if you're not into body horror, not so much Slither. Abigail looks good. Of course I remember you. I remember most of my people? I mean, there's only 6,000 of you. How can I not remember you? Who were you guys talking about, Smug? I think I missed it. Susan, asking the big questions. How many hours a day do you spend on videos? When I sit down to record, I try to spend no more than 2 hours recording. Because I get migraines if I don't, and then I take a break, and editing can take... actually I'm getting better at the initial recording, so the editing doesn't take as long as it used to, but it used to take somewhere between 45 minutes to an hour. So, I don't know. If I was to sit down and do a video from start to finish, probably take about 4 hours per video. Probably more like 2.5 now, depending on if I've had issues with things when recording. That's why I lock the cats out a lot, because they really... I know they're cute, but they really do kind of, cause problems when it comes to recording. They can be very obstinate. And I have had the kittens... I have had the cats since they were kittens. They were put on harnesses, all 3 of them, as soon as I got... Well, okay. The babies I've had since they were literally born. The tabby, I rescued him when he was, a few weeks old. But all of them have been harness trained from... Not birth, but since they were mobile. So... Their very first harnesses were basically 2 scrunchies and a C-clamp, or one of those D-clips, because they're too small for anything else. And the scrunchies don't restrict them, so you don't have to worry about it, choking them out or anything. So they were basically in scrunchy harnesses until they were big enough to fit into a small animal harness, and then they graduated from small animal harnesses to small dog harnesses, and now they wear medium-sized harnesses because they're big freaking cats. So that's how you leash train a cat. Let's see. Training harnesses. Now, my other 2 cats, I had 2 old men. I had 2 other cats before this group of cats. Both of them I didn't start leash training them until they were much, much older. I think Runer was around 8-ish, which would have made Frody around 6 when I first started leash training them. They both took to their leashes like champs. I never had any real issues. Runer, when he didn't want to be in his harness, would do the whole I'm broken thing, and he would just fall over and just go completely boneless. But he didn't have any issues walking on the harness or anything like that. I think people should harness train their cats. It's fine. It's not going to hurt them. Just make sure you're getting the right kind of harnesses and stuff. Which nowadays, pretty much any harness is good. As long as it's a chest harness, don't try to like, don't walk your cats with just a collar. It's bad for them. But cats like getting out. They like seeing the outside world. It's good for their brains. It keeps away cat dementia. So I highly recommend it. You have a 6-month-old that you're trying to harness. She's inherited some serious wild genes. Yeah, well, they're all wild at that age, though. Yeah, don't let your cats near roads. I even on the harnesses, I don't let the cats cross the roads. I always pick them up and walk them across a road. I don't trust them not to freak out or to. Cats will sometimes, when they feel threatened, they'll just stop moving altogether. And I don't trust them not to do that on a busy road. So I just pick them up and carry them across the road. They're not that heavy. If you have a 30-pound cat, different story, but I still wouldn't recommend just letting them walk. Excuse me. Bruce Campbell is a god and shall be worshipped as such. Your best friend almost worked with J-Bay? Yeah, I need to learn more about J-Bay. The Burly Pop? Yeah, Burly Pop popped in here one day. That was kind of funny. There's somebody yeah, no. That's right, he did call himself Burly Pop. Never mind. I know who we're talking about. I'm here. I'm here for this conversation. Oh, you guys are talking about J-Bay. Yeah, J-Bay is young. J-Bay is young and already on oxygen. Brosh. Don't worry, wait till you're 40. Army of Darkness is good. The new Army of Darkness is good. You can fight me on that one if you want. Fight me and you will lose. Let's see. Oh, I'm sorry, Stevie. If I hadn't already had a kitten, I probably would not have cats right now, but now that I have them, there's no way in hell I'm giving them up, so. Ann Quiet asks, have you noticed any traits in common with the girls? Like, so what are they? They all like to lie. They all like to exaggerate. They all like to claim victories when they really haven't done anything. They all like to play victim when they get called out on things. None of them like to capitulate. Oh, hey, we're almost done. Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of similarities between the girls. Almost all of them, with the exception of Foodie, will just out and out ignore things if it's pointed out to them and it doesn't fit the narrative. Like it didn't exist. It never happened. You asking your question never happened. Like they are all excellent at it. So yeah, there's a ton of similarities with the girls. I think that's how they get sucked into girl world. I don't think it's necessarily, fat chick on the internet kind of a thing. I think it's the mentality and the manipulation that goes behind their channels that make them part of girl world. And I'm sure there's some guys that fit into the girl world categories too, so I'm hoping not the new guy we've been watching, but oh my god, your cat's name is Pippin. No, wait, is that one of your dogs? You have pugs, don't you, Rocky? I've heard good things about Creep. I never watched it though. Yeah, Hillary. Smug. Smug and Smarmy asks, I want to know. Oh, I already. Sorry, Smug. I already answered that. But yeah, I went to go into forensics, didn't have it, stuck me in anthropology instead, and then there were no jobs in forensics, so I got sucked into archaeology. 25 years later, here we are. I know you've said that academia wasn't your jam, still is not. How did you maintain a cohesive life while working in the field at different locations? I didn't have one, so I didn't have to worry about it. my partner and I met around the time where I was kind of wrapping up my field life, if you will. It is very hard to have anything resembling a normal life as a field worker. So there are a lot of people that make this a lifetime thing. It takes a certain person. I've always said this. It takes a certain personality to be able to do field work for the rest of your life. Most of those people are chronically unattached, have no interest in long-term relationships, don't have a problem not having a permanent residence, that kind of stuff. That's not a bad way to live. It's just not the kind of life most people will choose. If you're looking to own a home, have a family, have a long-term partner, field work typically is not good for you. So, hello, Jennifer Christopherson. Aha, that is a name. I'm impressed I said that correctly the first time. Chicken! There you go, Smugs. Bob's got the right. See, that's what I thought when I turned 42. I just like the number 42, which is why I'm like, I'm 42. That's how old I am, forever and ever and ever now. Your black is Pippin and 4 pugs. Oh, so you have a cat. All right. 4 cats, Pippin, Natasha, Mary, and Yelena. Love it. Six chickens. Rookie's got like a whole petting zoo over here. I answered the movie question. But yes, I highly recommend Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I really do. Very underappreciated movie. And now there's a video game that I'm dying to play. Um, would you do some kind of geek stuff like internet technology, game archaeology? I do have a gaming channel, and it started off as an Archeo gaming channel, and I think it'll stay that way, but I changed the name of it recently because I was like, what if I don't want to just do archaeology? What if I just want to play some games? So it's actually called Tiny Blue Gamer right now, and forever shall it stay that way. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying. Any chance you do a documentary or a series of videos analyzing the phenomena of community around girls or, quote, notable people in the influencer media that aren't exactly influencers, but move in the flood in some way? That's a hell of a question. Well, yeah, actually, I'm getting ready to do kind of a deep dive into Anna from Glitter and Lasers. So, yes, but not until after I get back from Salem. Um, Would I stop doing Amber videos when the inevitable end is near? Or I think she will set. I I can't answer that question because I honestly have the feeling that when that occurs, it'll just happen. I think Amber will just stop posting, and because of the way that she just goes dark for about 2 weeks at a time, up to 2 weeks at a time, it'd be a while before people put two and two together. Now, just because she tends to go dark like that, and I know every time she goes, every time it's like a week or longer, everybody starts speculating if she's alive or not, which is why she does it. But I mean, if one of these days she's going to do that and not come back. So I don't know if there will be any telltale signs. I For Amber, I honestly think it's just going to be she'll be putting out videos and then one day she just won't, you know? I think Foodie's going to be kind of the same way. I think Foodie's decline is just a little bit more evident right now. And I mean, not to be terribly morbid, but that's kind of what we're doing right now with Foodie. We're kind of in a holding pattern. I mean, remember Jen from Life by Jen? She was making videos and then one day she just stopped. And then we find out from Jean, that was her partner, right? Jean. We found out the story, the news from Jean, what happened. That's what happens in these situations. So you guys are cracking me up talking about being latchkey kids. Latchkey kids. We were the Goonies generation. Midori, are you in here? What do you mean, please, a ghost demon in an unexplicable story, even when it's not paranormal of mine? You just want me to tell you a ghost story? Or do you want, like, a story from personal experience? Like, have I personally seen a ghost? Life by Jen is no longer amongst us, Miss Jellyfish fan. All right, well, that's everybody. I'll let Midori catch up, but let's see. Did I not mention I'm going on vacation? Have I not mentioned that 90,000 times at this point? Oh yeah, you're all of y'all. You're gonna look back on your 20s. You're gonna look back on your 20s. Let's leave it at that. 20s to mid 30s, and you're just gonna be like, that person. That person is why I can't XYZ now. I guess I was in my 30s. Oh, you're beautiful people. I love every one of you. Uh, go outside or do a house chore. Yeah, that sounds about right. Okay, so laugh. Cracking me up. You did a dwarf goat and some. How big is a dwarf goat? They're not big to begin with. Um, I'm not good at like off the top of my head ghost stories. Where, right, Midori's there. Let's see, a personal story. Here we go. Or that I live. I don't. I don't really have like a like. I don't not believe in ghosts. I've just never seen anything that's really made me be like, yeah, ghosts. I'm sorry. I used to run with a ghost hunter group when I lived back in Indiana, and I loved all those people. They were cool people, but it's like a Rorschach test. They would show me videos and pictures that they would, because they like to use me as bait because apparently paranormal activity liked to occur around me. I never saw, felt, heard any of it, but they would always claim that they were catching all this stuff occurring around me, and they would play it back to me. And I never knew what to say because I was always like, cool, because there was nothing there. So I know that's a lame story, but like I've never seen a ghost. Never. See, sometimes like you hear like someone calls your name from another room and there's nobody there. Like I've had that. You'll see somebody out of the corner of your eye. I've had that. When my one of my cats when my last cat passed away, I still like see him here and there. Um, but that doesn't necessarily mean that doesn't mean I believe the cat ghost is haunting me. And like right now, I joke about like the fakin hanging out in my house, but that's just because like we're in a new place, we're misplacing things, we're moving things around, shit falls over because it's in a pile, kind of a thing. Oh, what made me think that there was a ghost in my new place? Because our stuff keeps going, keeps getting moved around. Like I still can't find the damn TV remote. I had it 1 minute, and then I didn't, and I cannot find it anywhere. I know that's lame, but yeah, One Eye John, all my ghost stories involve them pranking me. Kinda, yeah. Um, NYC, I just entered my 30s. I'm so pumped to get older. There's nothing wrong with getting older. Any supernatural experiences? I mean, I don't know. I'm a very vivid dreamer, I guess. And I've had like deja vu moments, you know. I don't feel like anything I'm having is anything other people don't also experience. So, yeah, don't vanity search yourself, Quirky. Ever. Ever. There's no reason, all of y'all, never vanity search yourself, especially if you have anything resembling a YouTube or social media presence. Don't do it. Eco cat. I do like a good ghost hunting story show. Like I like that kind of stuff. There's I don't know if they're still around, but there used to be a show called Ghost Brothers, and it was these two dudes, these two black dudes, and they were like hunting ghosts, and they were like, "How come all the ghosts are always white?" And I was like, "That is an excellent question, sir." So I just really enjoyed their take on ghost hunting. They did all the same stuff. They just kind of had like different outlooks on the outcomes and the ghost stories that go along with the ghost hunting. I thought that was really cool, and I really enjoyed their show because it was just different. But you know, most of the ghost hunting shows are all the same. So yeah, we don't do orbs here. Orbs are not evidence of ghosts. Like I loved um it started out on BuzzFeed and then they had their own channel called Watcher for a while, but I really liked Shane and Ryan doing the unexplained paranormal stuff, like their little I miss that so much. I still go back and rewatch the old shows and just play them from the beginning cuz they're just so good. Peanut butter cocoa dude. My cats are seeing lots of things in the new house, but again, it's the new house, so yeah, right. That's when I check the fridge. Boy, if I find that remote in the fridge, it's time to go get myself checked for dementia. Jennifer Christopherson. Vanity searching means when you type your name in and you're trying to find, you do like a Google search of your own name. Or if you got a social media thing, you search for your, like I type in tiny blue anthropologist and see what Google pops up. I don't want to do that. I mean, and if I do end up doing that, then I'm just going to. Yes, Ruby, my partner does do that. Yes. My partner forgets that the top shelf of the cabinets is not someplace where I can find things and or reach them. But it's actually more funny than anything at this point. Cuz they're I don't think he even knows how tall he is, to be perfectly honest. I think he's close to 6 feet, but not quite. He's like 5'9", 5'10", something like that. He just forgets how tall he is. Ow, 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 ow. Yeah, my 30s were great. I would totally redo my 30s. I don't know if you could pay me enough to redo my 20s. We'd have to seriously renegotiate terms if I was going to redo my 20s. Damn it. Where did it go? Hellfire knows what I'm talking about with Ghost Brothers. Yeah, they were really cool. Yeah, One Eye John. I mean, it could exist. The paranormal could be real. I mean, I am a skeptic in that I am also open to things possibly being true, but you have to prove it. You can't just be like, look at this orb I found. Yeah, that's not going to do it. That's not enough for me. So I spent way too many years combating bullshit. It's really hard. But you know what? If you can prove it, I'm here for it. You just gotta have good evidence. Unsolved, yeah. Well, yeah, because Unsolved they did both the paranormal one and then they did one where they did like true crime and stuff. I wasn't so much into the true crime ones. Talking about Ryan and Shane, but the paranormal. And mostly that was because Ryan would get so worked up. Like he would psych himself up every damn episode. It was great. And Shane would just be like, oh, he's like a hardcore skeptic. And like there's several episodes where like Shane, bless his heart, Ryan would scare the living crap out of himself. And Shane had to be there and would just like talk him down, just like calm the guy down so much, and he'd be like, "You're doing it good, man. You're being really brave. I'm really proud of you, man." It was just like it was just so cute watching them work together like that. I miss it. Berkey, don't react to haters. Haters don't exist. Ignore them. Ignore them. The place you rented was haunted. Ew. Yeah, getting touched might freak me out some. Mm. I mean, there's a lot of people that believe animals can see ghosts or fairies or whatever. I think that's just because animals see and react to things that we don't. Sometimes they just see light. So I lost my remote in the fridge once. Yeah, that day is coming probably sooner than I think. I have to think where would he put the thing I'm looking for? Yeah, well, good luck with that. I have no idea. I really hate short people. Yep. Rookie. Rocky. See, I'm convinced my place is haunted, but not by ghosts, but by fae. Yeah. I made the mistake of cursing them the other day. Oops. Cats see demons. Uh, I'm reading your comments, sorry. Yeah, exactly what Stevie says. If you ignore the hate, it'll starve it because they'll realize they can't get a reaction out of you and they'll move on. They'll go back to picking on Foodie because Foodie always reacts badly. Do well, my new house is also undergoing heavy renovation. Yeah, I've heard people say that like renovating your house will have the ghosts act up. I mean, there's so many non-paranormal reasons for things happening. It's just, but you know what? I'm also not gonna like get on people for believing in it. You know, that's kind of the whole shtick with paranormal archaeology. Like, it's how you, the person, are interacting with something once you think the paranormal is involved. You know, once you think there are ghosts in your house, how do you start interacting with your house? How is that different than before you thought there were ghosts in your house? You know, same thing with Fae. Like, now that you now that there are Fae in your house, how do you interact with them and your house differently than you did before they were there? You know, or did you always believe they were there? You know, that kind of a thing. Per bug. The thing about Shane egging the demons on, it always freaked Ryan out. They did that show for 7 years. You would think at some point Shane would be like, or Ryan would have figured it out, like, and just been like, okay, nothing ever happens to you. Why am I even upset? Every time would scare the living crap out of him. I'm not laughing at Ryan. It just was like his reactions were just funny. Infrasound is really interesting. Maybe I got some infrasound in my nose and my throat right now. Yes, altered states do cause from interesting reactions. Who do I think would win in a trivia quiz? I mean, not that I'm trying to get political, but Biden, because Amber. That's why. Yeah, I don't really do politics on here very often, but that was an easy one. Who do I think would win in a trivia quiz? A Rock or Amber? Gonna go with the Rock, not the Rock. A Rock. She. Uh, Look, man, if people believe in ghosts, that's perfectly fine. Like people have experiences. I was not there. There's no way for me to reinterpret what you experienced. That's the thing about paranormal archaeology. Like you believe it. And I'm not trying to be condescending. Like because you have a true belief in it, it truly affects how that whatever, that house, that object, that idea is interacted with. And that really does change reality for you. You know, I can't have that same experience, but I can totally like understand it, right? I can understand that it's happening. And that's the whole point of paranormal archaeology is it's looking at how material culture and human interaction with that material culture alters once the paranormal is involved. Like a haunted location. How many people have a haunted bridge around them somewhere? Like almost everywhere I go, I know there's at least one haunted road. There's usually something called a crybaby bridge somewhere. Like these are very common haunted spaces that exist anywhere you go, you know? And once that road has become haunted, I mean, it becomes part of local legend, but like, what makes that road different than any other road in the county, right? And no one's interacting with the other roads in the county the way they're going to interact with that haunted road there, right? So I think we're still talking about haters. Yeah, haters are like demons. You don't interact with them because it gives them power. What? Oh, about the rock? Yeah, well, okay, look, it's Amber, right? Who do I think would win in a trivia contest? My cat or Amber? My cat is very intelligent. Just gonna leave it at that. X Files was an amazing show. Hey man, altered states altered states create realities. And somebody who's going through an altered state, like that is their reality. You can't just be like, no man, this isn't really happening. Cause it is. It is really happening. That's the trick. New apartments often feel uncomfortable because there are no ghosts. Maybe. There's also this theory that like ghosts, like really popular haunted places, that the ghosts are starting to fade because there's been so many people there stealing the energy. Like that's a really neat theory. I really like that people are coming up with nowadays. Rocky, you were born in 1880. I mean, are you sure that's the wrong person, Rocky? Are you sure? Did you guys ever play that game where you would go to like an old cemetery and you'd walk around until you found your name on a tombstone? If you haven't, I recommend it. Right, exactly. Imagine how different Loch Ness would be if no one thought there was a lake monster. It would just be Loch Ness. Good for it. Do, 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 do. What if the black mold is an alien life? I mean, look, Mothman is sacred and holy, and we will not besmirch the Mothman. I don't really believe in cryptids, but I will 100% back Mothman. My pug is smarter than Amber. Dude, the toenail I clipped off this morning is smarter than Amber. She's on my nerves. No, she probably couldn't say anthropology correctly. And the thing that irritates me about that, Quirky, is I can't tell if she can't say it correctly because she refuses to say it correctly and she thinks it's cute to mispronounce it, or if she literally can't say the word correctly. Chicken or Amber? The chicken. The chicken poop. Panspermia. Oh, Beezus, why did you have to bring up that episode? Yes, I remember it. That was effed up. That was one of the dark, dark episodes. LGD Corgi. Oh yeah, I mean everybody's got stories, man. What makes this interesting? Ghosts are actually everywhere. There's something good. Good, I think you meant good. Mothman 2024. Yes, please. Ode to the Clipper. Are we all alien life? Are you in the room? Ah. How dare. We're talking about Mothman and ghosts. Yeah, Amber gets off being helpless and making people care for her. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, that was everybody's questions. That only took 2 hours minus 5-ish minutes where my internet decided to lock up. So, what time is it? 6:14. We got time. We got time. You guys want to watch Kiana Dockery's Secret Eaters episode? We get to meet Murray and Helena. It's fun. I like that show. There's nothing wrong with finding Amber relatable, Jennifer. That's kind of part of her shtick. Yes. I've been to many a cemetery where I have left money in the hands of various statues because that's what you do. I don't want it following me home. You leave offerings behind. Yeah, Ruby Skies. Yeah, we don't talk about that episode. But it's haunting. I feel like that episode occurred around the time where the show was starting to like peter out. Not that it was a bad episode, it was just like they started taking the show in a different direction than they initially started with. I could be wrong. That could be like the very first episode. Hi, buddy. Was you sleeping? Are you gonna go back to sleep? Hang on. Never mind. I think it's gonna rain here in a bit. So yeah, be careful on your walk. All of you as well. What's a Pomeranian? Well, they're red and they're full of little tiny seeds. No, I'm kidding. That's a pomegranate. I love octopi. Extortion by statue. Yeah, the new thing is with the Point Pleasant is leaving a can of pork and beans, but that's because of Fallout. So there you go. Archeo gaming in action. The Archeo games, the game Fallout has affected the real world in that because of the Fallout games, we apparently now leave pork and beans in front of the statue. To which the owner of the statue, when I went to go visit a few years ago, had a sign outside that said, "Please do not leave canned goods by the statue." And then I find out later that the guy gave up on that and just started collecting them daily to donate them to the homeless shelter. And I'm like, well, you got to adapt. You couldn't tell if I was talking to the cats or my partner. Holiday column B. All right, type E. I just had a total brain fart. I'm so sorry. Type a 1 if you guys would like to watch the Kiana Dockery Secret Eaters episode. Some of you saw the beginning of this at the earlier live, but we'll start over right here. We'll start over right here, not the whole way. I bet they explode in the heat. And while you're doing that, I'm going to run to the little girl's room. Okay. That not mute? To be fair, I didn't give you an alternative to watching this, so we would figure something out if people aren't interested. But demon cats. No, he ran out because he thought he was getting fed, so. Well, alright, if you guys hate this, then we'll stop, because I'm gonna get off at 7 anyway. Was ist das? Hang on. Don't switch. Oh, hey. Thank you for posting that, Lee. Aw. So. Yay, Christina's feeling better. Alright, let's do this. This will be fun. It'll be a nice little background thing. I liked these guys. They seemed fun. Murray's a hoot.
So in this episode, we meet Murray and his wife, Helena, a couple in their mid-50s who spent most of their lives fit
and their giant-ass Pomeranian.
Healthy, but have suddenly found themselves struggling with their weight.
They've put on 146 pounds between them, but neither think they overeat.
I'm getting all the nutrition I need, and I'm not really eating that much.
I don't eat every meal. I quite often miss meals because I'm not always hungry.
Now, when the host Anna asks them what their diet looks like,
so what are you eating during the day?
Murray and Helena both claim that they're eating really healthy. They say they both cook most of their food at home, they don't really overeat, and in general, they think that their weight gain just doesn't really make any sense.
Your wife's not eating that
I
much.
can't believe that anyone could put weight on eating the quantities that Helena does.
Now, if you...
I said this earlier, but I love the fact that Helena says, I don't eat that much. And Murray goes, yeah, I don't know how she gains weight at all. She eats like a bird. Like, I love the fact that he's totally backing her up. Because I watched this show before, and sometimes the couples will just throw each other under the bus. And I just like watching them be like, no, my sweet petite wife. I don't know how she puts the weight on. She eats nothing. She exists on air and air alone. This is like, Murray, you're adorable.
If you've ever seen the show before, you know that they're both secret eaters and that the show will in fact prove that they're both eating way too much. And Murray in particular will turn out to be one of the most iconic secret eaters of all time because of just how off base he was about how much he was really consuming in a day. Now, the fact that both Murray and Helena are certain that they could not be eating enough to be gaining any weight is already a red flag. Why? Because in reality, it's just not that difficult to be eating enough calories every single day in order to be gaining.
Yes, chicken, they do support each other's delusions. Yes. Teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Weight. It might have been difficult to gain weight in like 1835 when putting food in your mouth required 3 to 4 hours of manual labor, but in our modern world with super convenient food and snacks, it is insanely easy to consume enough calories to gain a substantial amount of weight every single year. And on top of that, when the host Anna inquires further, we find out that Murray and Helena are both very sedentary.
Do you exercise?
No.
Their favorite pastime is watching TV together. They both work sedentary jobs, and at this point, the most exercise they get is walking the family dog. Now, Murray used to be a marathon runner, but he can't run anymore and he had to give it up. So we have two almost 60-year-old people living sedentary lifestyles, and it's already becoming less mysterious why they might be gaining weight.
What's happened, do you think?
Well, I put it down to age.
What, your hormones, do you reckon?
Yeah. Early menopause.
So you've got menopause.
Murray used to be a marathon runner, but he can't run anymore and he had to give it up. So we have two almost 60-year-old people living sedentary lifestyles, and it's already becoming less mysterious why they might be gaining weight.
What's happened, do you think?
Well, I put it down to age.
What, your hormones, do you reckon?
Yeah. Early menopause.
So you've got menopause going on.
There's this idea that as we hit middle age, our metabolism slows down and thus we gain weight. But apparently this is mostly a myth. And what that weight gain really comes down to is an accumulation of overeating habits, loss of lean muscle mass, and an overall reduction of movement and exercise. And if we forget about the food for a minute, 2 out of...
Can we please talk about how portly this damn Pomeranian is? The portly Pomeranian is a proper pot roast.
3 of those things were movement related, which emphasizes how important it is for every single one of us to find some sort of movement that we like enough to do every single day for the rest of our lives until we die. If we can just find something that we are willing to do or even excited to do every single day, that is going to go such a long way toward maintaining our health as we age. When the couple is asked to record their food, Murray recorded eating about 3,000 calories starting each day with a large portion of porridge. Helena said she eats small regular meals, estimating her calorie intake to be around 1740 each day.
Okay, look, Murray already is like, yeah, I eat 27,000 calories a day. What? props to him, because most people do like Helena's doing. They're like, oh no, I couldn't possibly be eating more than like 1,700-ish calories a day. Murray's like, nah, man, I eat 2,000 at least, maybe 3. Murray, honey, you don't need that many calories.
Day. Now, first off, I do have to say, at least Murray is aware that he's eating like at least 3,000 calories a day. He's already at least trying to be more honest with himself than at least like 90% of the people on this show.
You do eat a lot of pastries, whereas
Where?
in your car
See what I'm talking about? Totally. I'm gonna throw you under the bus so they don't look at me.
in the house, down the street.
I don't eat pastries.
Most people come on the show and claim they're eating like 1,200 calories a day. Then the show has to find out that, nope, whoops, you actually ate that in like one meal. But here's the thing. Based on their own tracking, both Murray and Helena are already gaining weight. A 5'4", sedentary, 55-year-old woman who is at a healthy BMI can eat around 1,500 calories a day. While at the
Damn it, now I want toast.
same time, a man Murray's height and activity level would need to eat around 2,000 calories. Now, these are just averages based on maintaining the upper end of a healthy BMI. Everyone's different. I'm just trying to give you a rough idea of what the numbers look like if you're in your 50s and sedentary. Being sedentary is literally the worst thing you can do if you want to maintain a healthy.
I didn't know she had a dog. And I definitely didn't know she had a corgi. When did she get a corgi? Oh, and that clip where he was like, yeah, you eat pastries. And she was like, when? I know, now I want a donut too. Hey, donut day was like earlier this month, so no more donuts.
Healthy body weight, it just biases the numbers in such a way that makes it so difficult. When you're sedentary, the calorie math is rough. Because, for
That's a
example,
corgi,
say
right?
a meal from a fast food
No,
restaurant is
that's
going to
not.
clock in
Oh,
on
no, it
average
is.
over 1,000 calories. Burger King,
Okay, maybe that's like a corgi mix, because do corgis have long tails? Don't they just have the little happy wiggle butt? Or is that something that do they dock their tails like they do with Dobermans? Now we're talking about dogs.
Whopper with cheese, 743 calories.
Corgus
Medium
Rex.
fry, 398 calories. Medium drink, 221 calories. Total, 1,362 calories. While a British breakfast fry-up from a restaurant can clock in from anywhere around 600 to 2,000 calories. Plus,
Ooh, doesn't
according
that
to
look
several
good,
different
though?
polls, 75% of British people consume crisps at least once per week, with 53% of them consuming crisps multiple times a week or more, while 37% of British people have a sweet treat every single day. So just doing the math on some potato chips and a sweet treat every day, depending what and how much of it you have, that's an easy 1,000 calories just in snacks. Not to mention sneaky calories coming from things like fats and oils, sauces and creams, alcohol. Even if you don't allegedly use half a jar of mayo on your salad, these sneaky calories
That woman is not happy. How dare you find my mayo jar?
can add up.
Obviously doing something wrong, you know, something you think, well, yeah, because you eat too many sweets or whatever. But it can't be just that.
Oh, good to know,
Except
Lee.
it literally can be.
So there is a long-tailed corgi. Is that the proper British? The Queen's corgis? I don't know. I'm just making jokes at this point. They're terrible.
Just that. Now, when the hidden cameras and secret investigators track Murray,
Duncan Me and Cameron Gowlett.
they discover that his weight gain is actually being caused by something a little bit more heavy than just a bit of overeating here and there.
Is it usually a healthy start to the day for you?
Yeah, that's what I think.
So he's eating a bowl of special K cereal,
Special
Hmm.
K, very good for you. Yeah.
a banana, some milk, and then multiple splashes of cream and a massive lump of jam. Look at all that cream.
I have never seen somebody put jam on cold cereal. I have been guilty of putting it in my oatmeal back in the day, and it is delicious, but I have never seen somebody do that to cold cereal.
Now, I know the show is like 10 years old, but I am shocked that someone could not realize that pouring all that cream on their cereal is a very risky
Brooklyn
choice
cardigan.
calorie-wise. And I guess Murray wasn't using just any old cream, but something called double cream. And as you can see, he was really laying it on there. Now, in Canada, we don't sell double cream. The closest thing we have is whipping cream. Now, whipping cream is a lot thicker than what you might put in coffee. It's usually only used in things like sauces or in desserts. But even whipping cream isn't the same as British double cream. While whipping cream is 36% fat, British double cream is 48% fat.
It's low calorie.
Dang. I bet it tastes delicious. Pembroke has a shorter tail and the smaller ears. So wait, you're telling me that there's a corgi that's called Cardigan, and there's a Mr. Cardigan. Are we saying that Mr. Cardigan is a corgi?
Cereal, isn't it?
And when it was all said and done, it turned out that Murray was adding 1,400 calories of
Yeesh.
cream to his cereal. which really points out why it's so important for every single person to learn just even a little bit about calories and nutrition. This whole situation and like 75 pounds of weight gain could have been avoided if Murray just knew a little bit, if you just took the time to take a look at the side of the box of the double cream. I think for people who struggle with their weight at all, one of the most helpful things that you can do is just spend some time tracking your calories and getting to know how many calories are in certain things. Not necessarily.
I think this is Murray is a good example of why you should weigh your food too, because probably a teaspoon, a tablespoon of double cream, I mean, it's going to have a lot of calories in it. We probably wouldn't have put him over so badly, but yeah, those were like a fourth cup at a dollop. So he is now Mr. Corgi. Mr. Cardigan is a loaf of bread. Is that not what a corgi is? Corgi pop. Good stuff.
Necessarily forever, just to get an idea of how calorically dense certain things are. Otherwise, you're completely flying blind. You have no way of really even.
I need anyone, to send Mr. Cardigan, to send Mr. Snowflake a picture of him as Mr. Cardigan, but he's a corgi. I need that fan art to be sent to him stat with no reference. I need him to see that piece of artwork and be like, "What? Yes, you're welcome."
And guessing how much you could be consuming on a daily basis, leaving you vulnerable to Murray moments, meaning you could be like Murray, eating 1,400 calories of accidental cream in your cereal. And because Murray had absolutely no idea how many calories he was consuming, not only was he consuming all that cream, but he was actually eating 4 times the serving size of cereal. And
Now that shit sneaks up on you, because like, have you ever seen what a serving size of whatever cereal you're eating looks like? It is never what you think it is. Don't you do corgi? Kiana has a long-tailed corgi. I didn't know they came in a long-tailed variety, but apparently I have learned that they do. My neighbors all have the little short, stubby butts. So we've got like 3 corgis in the neighborhood now. You had 83% fat butter the other day. That's what feeders do to girlfriends to make them gain. Look, I would not say so much because he was pouring it on there himself, but that is a good thing to know. That would be a red flag, I guess. If your partner starts swapping your stuff out for the high fat without telling you. I need reference of Mr. Corrigan, but you could do it. That'd be so amazing. Clotted cream is also amazing. I've never had clotted cream. You will see this in his next comment section, Mr. Corgi. He's gonna be like, "The fuck?" That's right. How you like that? You already. If he gets multiples. Oh my god, that'd be amazing. He's just gonna get. Can you imagine? He just gets all these pictures of Mr. Corgi. Mr. Cardigan Corgi. He's just gonna be like, "What happened? Something happened and I was not there." It'd be amazing. That's like seal milk levels of fat? I did not know seal milk was a thing. I mean, it makes sense that it is. I just did not realize that that was a thing. Brooks also have tails, but they have typically been... Oh, they do dock them. Okay, I was wondering if they did. Yeah, see, like, I'm a big fan of Dobermans. We had those growing up, and when you get a Doberman puppy, usually they've docked their tails, like, practically the moment they're born. But that's because they were working dogs for a long time. But from what I understand, like, the AKC is actually changing to the point where they, like, you can't dock their ears, which is fine. And they don't want you docking their tails either, which is fine. I will say... So the last Dobie I had, we didn't, her tail and her ears were not docked. That tail is solid bone. And she would get excited and would whack you with that tail, and it hurt a lot. But, you know, better that than damaging your dog for no apparent reason. Some species of seals nurse for less than, well, yeah, I would say with like near 100% milk fat. Yeah, right, chicken? Who is drinking other than seals? So, people, are you surely? The Pembroke do carry a gene for a docktail? Oh, that's interesting. See, I thought it was natural. I didn't realize that they docked it themselves. So why do they only dock? Why do they only dock the Pembroke and not the cardigan? Which is what started this whole conversation.
Obviously, the cream thing was kind of in its own league, but the cereal thing is not difficult to do at all. I can actually remember the first time that I realized how much cereal is actually in one serving of cereal, because it was just so much different than the amount of cereal I was serving myself every single morning without having any idea. And it's interesting that Murray was eating Special K, and he keeps mentioning how healthy the cereal that he's eating is.
Special K. Very good for you. Yeah.
Because Special K in particular did a really, really good job of marketing itself as the healthiest breakfast ever in the early 2000s. Like, I can remember thinking of Special K as this like weight loss cereal when I was a kid, and so I went back and I looked at some of the commercials now, and you actually really cannot blame Murray for thinking that Special K was this like super healthy choice that he was making.
If you find muesli a bit too heavy, now at last there's an alternative, and it's from Special K.
Drop a jean size in 2 weeks with the Special K challenge.
Anybody remember the Special K diet? You can lose weight eating any cereal for most of your meals.
Your free personalized slimming plan.
And get the scale moving in the...
A free personalized slimming plan. Because when I need to lose weight healthily, the first place I turn is to a cereal company.
Right direction.
Thank you, General Mills.
Delicious every day.
Actually, that was Kellogg's. Thanks, Kellogg's.
Lose the fat.
What will you gain when you lose?
This is very much so peak 2000s era diet culture marketing, and it also really just kind of makes no sense. This refined carbohydrate, sugar-laden cereal is marketing itself as if it's going to cause people to somehow spontaneously lose weight. And if you had no clue how weight loss worked, I feel like you could think that this is a cereal that you could feel was like a more the merrier situation.
Kind of the funnier thing with Murray falling for Special K, though, is that like Special K was almost exclusively targeting women as far as like their whole like, we're so healthy you can eat us for meals instead of actual food. So that Murray was like, oh yeah, Special K, that'll keep me svelte. That kind of was a little more funny to me, because it means like at some point Murray was watching this commercial and he's like, those women are attractive, maybe if I eat Special K I will be an attractive woman too. No, I'm kidding, I'm joking, but maybe he did, I don't know. Maybe he was like, wow, they're skinny, maybe if I eat the cereal I'll be skinny too. It's like, no, dude, it doesn't actually work for them either.
It's low-calorie cereal, isn't it?
So I feel like we can give Murray this one. But in reality, there's nothing special about Special K. It's not even particularly low-calorie or anything. And for me, eating refined carbohydrates first thing in the morning is like a recipe for being starving the rest of the day. And that tends to be how it works for most people, according to most research on the topic. So Special K might actually be like the worst thing you could possibly consume for breakfast, if you think about the way it might impact what you choose to consume later on. And when it was all said and done, it turned out that between the cereal, the cream, the banana, and the ladles of jam,
That bowl of cereal there contains 2,500.
Is jam in cereal a thing, or is Murray just extra? Because I can't tell. I can't tell if Murray is just going that next step, putting the jam in his cereal, or if like that's a common thing to do. Like I said, I've put it in oatmeal before, like hot oatmeal, but I've never put it on cold cereal.
Calories.
I would never ever believe that.
2,500 calories in a bowl of cereal. That has got to be a secret eater's record for a food that is genuinely healthy seeming on the outside. But yeah, this is why Murray, the man who managed to turn a bowl of cereal into 2,500 calories, is one of the most iconic people in secret eaters history. The thing is though, I've been going on and on about how easy it is to gain weight even when you're not overeating to some insane degree. But Murray was eating quite a lot in reality.
Well, Murray, I mean, you're a very lucky man, because you
Murray's gonna make me hungry because it's dinner-ish time, and now I'm like, oh, look at all the delicious food.
You've got a lady on hand who's cooking for you. So there's no need for you really to go out and buy anything when you're on the run or anything like that.
Not really.
It wasn't that he was just eating healthy and making a few major mistakes. The private investigators also caught him consuming the following just while he was at work one day.
What has Murray eaten today?
3 cheese and piccalilli sandwiches, microwavable hot dog, 2 bags of kettle chips, 1 apple pie for 2, 3 slices of meat feast pizza, and 2 slices of garlic bread.
Bringing Murray's total consumption on average.
God damn it, garlic bread sounds delicious. Absolutely not. One of you says yes, two of you have said no. Yeah, I'm just going to assume it's a British thing. Sorry, Nikki, I'm just assigning it to you. Just assigning it to Britain because it's weird and therefore it must be true. Nikki's like, no, I swear, I promise.
Too.
During surveillance, you got through 6,000 calories a day.
I can't really
Jeez, Luke.
see that eating anything different than what I do now is going to make any difference.
Not one change, Murray. Not even one. Now, I guess Murray was an ex-marathon runner and they have to eat a ton. So maybe he just got used to eating a lot and then didn't update his eating habits as he aged. Or perhaps he's just in denial about his eating habits because the private investigators also caught Murray sneaking fast food and takeaways while out of the house so that his wife didn't notice. So not only is Murray a secret eater because he's unaware of the calories in his regular foods, he's also a secret eater in the tradition.
Those shifty eyes. Where have we seen those shifty eyes while shoveling food into their mouths? Foodie. Murray has made his own unique breakfast. Murray seems like the type to do something like that, Be like, he just one day just started adding stuff and he's like, this is wondrous. I'm going to keep doing it. And he's just like stuck with it because he thought it was the best thing ever. You'll put it on granola with yogurt, which is kind of like cold cereal. Yeah. Skim milk would help. It's not the milk, Dolce. It's not the milk that was the problem. It was the 1,400 calories of extra cream. Maria's made it. Yeah. I mean, you can basically buy those yogurts that are like fruit mixed in. That's basically jam and yogurt. So that's not that weirdly. And yeah, putting granola in is basically, yeah.
Sense as he eats food in secret away from Helena. It's funny, Murray's situation was so extreme and out of the ordinary that he ended up doing a Daily Mail interview afterwards, and this is what he had to say. I was eating semi-correctly, or believing I was. I thought I was eating plenty of fruit and salad. I thought if I ate one piece of fruit a day, then I was eating healthily.
Okay, foodie. Look at that face.
But on one particular day, I'd eaten more than 8,000 calories, he confesses. I was shocked to the core. The problem, as Murray is only too willing to admit, was a lack of knowledge about what healthy really means. And as a result, foods such as jam and cream formed a recurring part of his menu.
See, here's the thing about Murray. Here's why we love Murray. He's like, yeah, I ate 8,000 calories, and I was shocked. But then he immediately turned around and owned it. He was like, I didn't know any better, so I changed that. That's why we like Murray. Now, he's going to make a liar out of me, I think, but I don't know. I think he does lose weight. But we like Murray right now. Murray's our fave.
Lena and I talk about healthy eating a lot, and we always say that people don't know enough, he explains. I think there's a lot of people like me out there who started putting on weight in their early 20s and don't know how to get rid of it and avoid things like diabetes.
Murray, are you a secret eater?
I think I'm the most secretive eater there's ever been.
Look at him.
It is really so true. Like, unless you're really interested in learning how to eat healthy, how would you even know like what it means to eat healthy?
Well, Miss Jellyfish, all he has to do is eat one piece of fruit a day, and he's eating healthy. That one banana canceled everything out. Everything else. 1,400 calories of cream. Banana took care of it.
It's very healthy.
Now, some people will never have weight issues their entire lives. They'll remain 5 to 10 pounds away from whatever they were in high school, and they'll go their entire lives without having to worry about food or managing their weight whatsoever. Some people just have weights that are kind of like regulated. They just kind of stay the same forever. But
really, I don't think that's true. I think those people, the reason why they don't have weight fluctuation is because they started off with a healthy eating. They started off eating healthily and they just maintained that going forward. Consciously or subconsciously. It's like, I don't believe in that idea that there are people that are just inherently skinny. Even my friend, my best friend grew up as thick as my pinky. I'm not joking. Even she puts on weight. In our much later years, now that we're older and wiser. I mean, we've both gained weight. So, I don't know. I just don't believe that there are people that are just, I mean, maybe statistically that person exists because it's mathematically plausible, but that doesn't mean that that is an actual reality.
But for the rest of us in this modern food environment, we have to be
Right,
intentional
exactly,
with what we
Quirky.
consume. Because if we're just mindlessly eating whatever is around us, given the current food environment, we are very likely to struggle with weight gain.
Yeah, Anais just like totally nailed that one. We are all confused about healthy eating because companies want us to be confused and just buy more. Did you guys know that there's like, you know, with the Ozempic and everything and the GLP-1s taking over, I think it's Coca-Cola. Anyway, one of these food companies is literally creating a line of food that they are selling. Their target audience is people who are taking GLP-1s for weight loss. They are creating a line of junk food, pizzas, other forms of junk food, that they are specifically targeting to people who are taking GLP-1s. Tell me they are not evil people. Oh, you're trying to lose weight by taking injections, huh? Let's make some food and then tell you that it'll help. How so, sir? Anyway.
Murray and Helena are dealing with something that I think is going to become a much bigger problem over the next 20 to 30 years. I think we're going to see a lot more stories just like this. People who maintained a healthy weight when they were younger, who never really had to think much about what they ate, but then slowly over their lifetime, things started to shift. They gain a few pounds here, a few pounds there, and then over 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, they suddenly found themselves overweight or obese and then had no idea really how to deal with it because it's not something that they had to think about or worry about when they were younger. But if you gain 1 pound every single year, then in 30 years, you will be 30 pounds heavier. And if you gain 2 pounds or 5 pounds or 10 pounds or 15 pounds, those numbers get much, much worse as you get up in age. And
yeah, Lee, exactly. You were a twig until you moved into a house instead of a third floor apartment. Right. I don't think people realize how active they are. And then, you know, you stop doing that. Like when I was going to college, when I was a child, I had to walk across campus to get to shit, right? I mean, everybody had that experience if you went to college. And if you didn't, that's fine too. But my point is, I walked a lot. And then I didn't go to college anymore, and I gained a lot of weight because I wasn't active anymore. And the only thing that had changed really was that I stopped going to college, so I didn't have to run and walk between classes to get to places on time, you know?
going back to the modern food environment, this show mentioned that both Murray and Helena were 56 years old. Murray would have been born sometime in the late 50s, so he was in his 20s in the late 70s. In the 1970s, most people were not overweight, and actually obesity was pretty rare. And researchers believe that this is mostly due to how different the food environment was between.
But you guys, obesity is natural, and we should all be, our natural body set something. Obesity's always existed. Obese bodies have always existed, and they've always been unhealthy. And those people have always been unhealthy. Right, exactly, Alec. That reminds you of the Atkin-friendly food items sold when the diet was popular. Yeah, it's the exact same shit. What'd you say? Quirky? Okay, yeah, I'm caught up now. I'm trying to up my activity with my pain issues, and it's hard. I imagine it is. Yeah, see, that's the problem. That's the problem. You got pain, it hurts to do the thing. You gotta do the thing, because without doing the thing, the pain is even worse. I mean, it's like a snake eating its own tail kind of a thing. You know? It's like, I've been out of the gym for a month. And I know when I go back and I hit the weights that I want to do, I know it's gonna hurt. I know I'm gonna be in pain the next day. And so I'm like, do I really want to do that? But the reality of the situation is after that pain subsides. Now, this is not Quirky's issue. This is my issue. I know after that goes away, I'll be fine. But I have to get through that initial pain first. And yes, I know I can take ibuprofen and it does help, but it doesn't make it all go away. But like, yeah, like with Quirky though, like chronic pain's a thing. And it does make life difficult. Oh my God, my hair. Here we go. And that's what sucks about it. And then on top of it, all of our food is poison.
And now. In the 1970s, most meals were still cooked at home. A standard dinner for a British family would be quote unquote meat and 2 veg. And the 70s were actually that same decade that all those cursed recipes.
What is that? Is that a hard-boiled egg? Or an apple? God only knows. Who had time to make these recipes? I mean, granted, that thing's terrifying and probably didn't take that long, but who had time to do that? And what is this? I think more importantly, why is that? A Frankenfurter Spectacular. Why? Why? Why the 70s? Why? I know that middle pick is something, isn't it? Man, Lyme disease is wicked. I'm so glad I got treated for it once. I'm so glad I never actually like had it. I got a friend who's going through it, and it's vicious. The pain does not feel good, Anais. Y'all are weird. I've had more than one person, I love the way it hurts. No, that's weird. Look, I know the pain goes away, but it does not feel good. Before the internet, they had a lot more free time. That's fair. That is fair. Home wives. Yeah, housewives, I guess. From Jordy's stream. Hello, fam. How'd you go? Well, you missed me answering everyone's questions. All of your burning questions. And now we're looking at terrifying food from the 70s.
These that you see online sometimes are from. My point being that the food culture at the time revolved around
Now that looks delicious.
home-cooked meals.
I don't know what it was, but it looked delicious. That looks good too. That looks like something I've had, actually.
Included having dinner parties with like jelly.
Jello, man. Jello. That's kale too, by the way.
Low meats, as opposed to convenience food and eating on the road. Back then, fast food was just beginning to take off.
This 9-layered gastronomic indulgence is known as a Big Mac.
It was not something that you had very often, it was more of a treat. And high-calorie snack foods and convenience foods.
You made the Big Mac sound so elegant, and yet I know what a Big Mac is. God damn it, now I want a Big Mac. Yes, you will have to catch the replay.
Did exist, but we didn't really eat a lot of them. The most common convenience foods were like Swanson's TV dinners and like Campbell's chicken soup. So as a result, if you're growing up in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, you probably didn't have to think much about what you consumed at all. But today, things are a little bit different. Convenience foods have taken over. Junk food is in every aisle, and fast food is on every corner.
I'm not gonna lie, that looks good. I'm that guy. I like that. I like the way that looks. I would eat that somehow. Somehow. Probably with a knife and fork, let's be honest, but...
It's hard to get away from it. That's why these days being aware and intentional about the food choices we're making is absolutely vital. But while Marie is the star of this episode, Helena...
I am hungry, yes, sorry. It is dinner time for Tiny. Oh yeah, she had the dinner party and she was making dessert. That's right, I remember this. I've watched this episode like at least 3 times at this point. You'd think I would remember what the outcome was.
Represents a problem that is probably more common than 2,500 calorie bowls of cereal.
I try and cook from scratch like chicken, jacket potatoes. I think it's fairly healthy diet.
When the show tracks her food, they find that, in fact, she is not eating exorbitantly or anything. She is not sneaking takeaway meals. She is not having gigantic bowls of cereal. She has a very normal diet, but she does have a sweet tooth and has no idea how many calories are in the sweet foods that she's eating, resulting in her eating in a way that simply adds up to weight gain over time. Starting with the 2 sugars she takes in her coffee. Times that by the 5 coffees she has a day.
Whoosh. Dude, if I have 2 coffees in a day, that's 1 too many. I can do 1. I can do 1 cup of coffee. 1 cup of coffee.
In 10 teaspoons of sugar in just 1 day, which adds up to 40 grams of sugar and 160 secret calories.
Over the course of the surveillance, you got through around about 1,200 calories just in hot, sugary drinks.
Then they find Helena having a turkey roll and jam donut, Ben and Jerry's ice cream.
It was a turkey roll and then also a jam donut, not a turkey and jam donut roll thing. That would be... I say that, and Wawa has the turkey gobbler, I think they call it, that they put out around Thanksgiving. It's turkey, cranberries, green bean casserole, and gravy on a hoagie bun. Wawa's looking out for your health. They're not.
Cookies, and a tiny piece of chocolate. And what the cameras and investigators discover is that over the tracking period, she ended up eating 1,700 calories of sweet foods in total.
Over the course of a month, same number of calories as these 104 chocolate bars.
Which again,
I'd eat the shit out of those chocolate bars. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I can't have that kind of stuff in the house. Earl Sandwich did a similar thing when you used to eat there. Yeah, a lot of people really like it. They bring it back every the turkey gobbler sandwich. They bring it back every year, so it must be popular. It's the green bean casserole on it that really catches me off guard. But I'm just like, why? But there it is.
I think they say it's over like 5 days or something like that. It seems like they're trying to make it seem like that's some huge number, but it's over 5 days, which means it's just about 340 calories per day, which a Krispy Kreme donut is exactly 340 calories. A Starbucks vanilla frappuccino is 380 calories, and a crumble cookie is around 800.
Seriously. All right, look. Many of you know that I deliver for DoorDash, right? Every week when I go out, two maybe 3 times a week, somebody is ordering freaking crumble cookies, like the big box, like the long big box of crumble cookies. I think there's like 6 of them in there or something like that. By the way, I hate crumble cookies boxes. They're stupid and I don't know who designed them, but they need to be slapped. Anyway, somebody is ordering these things every morning at 10 a.m. It's like 9 times out of 10. This is one of my very first orders of the day, is a box of crumble cookies. Who is doing this? You need to stop. Like a whole box. It's ridiculous. They're like 800 a piece. Some of their cookies are like 1,200 calories a cookie. And I get it that you're supposed to like cut them like a pizza and you're supposed to share them and everything. But seriously, who doesn't eat a whole damn cookie? I've seen people go in there with their kids and walk out, and each kid has their own cookie. What are you doing? Stop that. 1 cookie for both kids. Even then, if that was just this cookie, which is their Cinnabon cookie, by the way, because that's how often I'm in there, that's 400 calories of nothing but sugar and fat for your kid. That's an entire meal worth of calories in half a cookie. Stop that. Stop it. Walt's Roast Beef does a Thanksgiving sandwich. Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people are doing that. Yeah, these people who are ordering, and it's not the same person every time. Though I have delivered to the same person multiple times, but it's not always the same people with the crumble cookies. And yes, I keep track because it happens.
Calories somehow.
Yeah, because you eat too many sweets or whatever. But it's...
I'm usually delivering them to private addresses, not businesses. I have taken them to schools a few times, and that kind of makes sense, but most of the time I'm delivering these to houses.
Can't be just that. It's got to be more.
And as Helena learned the hard way, it absolutely does not have to be more than that. If you're already eating at maintenance or just above that, an extra 340 calories per day adds up to almost a whole pound a week. Times that by 20 years and mystery solved. And that's not at all to suggest that people can never have a sweet treat, but I think just being thoughtful and intentional with what you consume.
Jesse's catching up.
You can definitely be healthy and have sweet treats. You can have your cake and eat it too, as they say, just by knowing what treats are worth it and what treats are not. In the end, Murray and Helena end up making great progress. Over 6 weeks, they both
Look at that puppy. I think the dog lost weight too. Look at him.
lost around 1 stone.
The stone right there, mate.
And Murray has even begun going to the gym and running again.
Good
and this
for
is one of the
Murray.
reasons I love Secret Eaters. It just goes to show how a little bit of awareness can lead to big results.
I was a secret eater, but not anymore.
Now, if you want
Aw.
more behavior change content, check out this playlist I made here, or you can check out all my Secret Eaters content here.
That picture's doing that woman dirty. This is something I would love someone to do to Anna, basically, because I think part of Anna's problem is she just doesn't understand how much she eats. I think she thinks she's eating healthy. I just don't think she, A, understands how many calories are in the things she eats, and B, doesn't understand how much she eats. Like, her little protein snack haul, she was talking about how she had, like, a bag of those chips a day, and then she was talking about how she was having those protein cinnamon rolls. No. She was having those pretty frequently, and she was like, I have like 2 protein bars a day. Okay, look, the snacks alone are adding up to like 1,200 calories or something insane like that. And she really thought she had something there. She really thought she was like, yeah, look at all this protein I'm eating. And I'm like, yeah, look at all those calories you're eating in junk. I mean, yeah, there's like 4 grams of protein per bar or something stupid like that, but like the rest of it's sugar. So anyway. Oh yes, Crumble Cookie is a company. Yes. Sorry. I've never had one either. They smell delicious and they look cute, but first off, they're like $6 a cookie. And secondly, the low end is 800. Their cookies are very high in fat. I'm sure they taste wonderful. I'm still not going to do it. No, Crumble Cookies is its own company. They might be owned by Starbucks. I don't know, but I don't think they are. But, all right. What time is it? Where's my mouse? Yeah, that worked out just perfect. All right, if you've made it this far, go ahead and put a cookie down in the comments section. Because it is now 7, and I think we've all picked up on the fact that I am hungry, because I've said that about 1,000,000 times today, so... They're overrated. I've had people tell me that too. Yeah, right, Jesse? The way she says snacking is super important to me. It's like, dude, chill. Snacks should not be that important to you. These tips gonna have you guys. Crumble cookies are what's wrong with... No, what's wrong with America is the Oreo pizza. Crumble cookie is just another iteration of that. All right, everybody, thank you very much for joining me. I hope I answered y'all's questions. Thank you very much for getting us to 6K, or over 6K now, but I still appreciate it. And I think I'll do one more of these is at 8K, and then I don't know what we'll do for 10 if we get there. So I guess the next one, the next time to hold your burning questions is for when I get to 8K, and then we'll do this again. And the crumble cookies are amazing, and each cookie's like 5 servings. Yeah, but who does that? That's the problem. So, do they still make they still make the Oreo pizza, right? Am I insane? That used to be a thing for real. There's a really funny John Oliver skit about the Oreo pizza. There's nothing you can do to us that we have not already done to ourselves. But anyway, all right. I will see all of you lovely people later. Thank you again for hanging out. Let me know down below what you guys think. And I said this in the earlier one that I was doing. If you can think of any like new content creators or new channels or smaller channels or things like that, that you guys might want me to look at that kind of fit into the health at every size, fat acceptance, girl world sphere, I'm looking for new things to react to, even if it's just once or twice, because I don't know, I just would like to look at other things. So there we go. Nothing is important to me. Anyway, see everybody later. Bye.